of going for the save on your teammate. Instead, both you go down because of it. So again, it's a really brutal game for R8. Meanwhile, here we can see E-Arena on the crash down. They're going to see if they could shut down Intense Game. Flashbang right in the corner. Keep you concussed. The shotgun comes out. Joker trying to make things work, and they will do just that. Goodbye, Intense Game.
8 elims again for E-Arena. Weird moments where E-Arena like has these cool plays, but
so grouped, they give that one up basically for free with the shrapnel being thrown over from Alpha 7. Al-Haji even taking pot shots from the side now, got an angle on the top of the ridge. The nade follow-up, that should basically be E-Arena completely blown to bits. I mean, you've got one guy, it's just Joker trying to get away. Everyone else in a horrific position.
It's a good clean up onto Intense Game, but if you're E-Arena there, now's not the time to start looting up, it's the time to get going. Right, you got to figure out your next move. Teams are moving in from your south side. You should know that from that compound that was sat underneath them. Tony K goes down to Al-Haji, who's bringing the pain in this game. In the meantime, most teams are on the outer edge. There's not a lot of area to play. You can see here, it is just barren ground. And that bountiful harvest we were talking about earlier might not be quite coming through for a lot of our teams.
Oof. Koa getting the spot there on towards Solus. Damage back over from Power as well. As Fahedin's able to show his impact to Power Gaming, revving the engines, keeping the momentum going. For R8, they did get the revive back up onto the knocked players. There is still 2 alive in commission. That was Marth with the heads-up maneuver to keep him up whilst the attention was turned from Alpha 7. And of course, on that E-Arena crash that we saw moments ago.
For R8, they made it a fair way into this game. I think they had to. They needed something to give themselves a little bit of confidence going into the next matches after that first one where it looked brutal for them. It looked absolutely brutal. Power in the meantime, though, like a locust over on this western side of the map, ruining all of our crops, realistically. Taking one shot after another at stragglers. The more they clear on the western side as well, the more strength they'll have in towards that end game. It looks like Easy's going to scout down over towards Alpha 7 here. We're getting peppered.
And this is that split from Reg and Karia that aren't actually in a bad position whatsoever. You can see the bullets over from Loxy. He's got them pinned in. Marth trying to take a couple of shots from the side as well, see if he can steal away anything from this. Revo's realizing, man, like the entire team is just being cauterized. They can't get towards one another. You are trapped in position. Marth getting the headshot on that as well, coming back to haunt them. They threw the first stone at R8, but instead that's just fragmented the entire team for a late game finish on this one.
Ida getting knocked there out in the open. Again, for Korea, I respect their attempt. I mean, he had to get out there, couldn't wait around for the vehicle to pop. It would have taken his life. He's managed to crawl all the way across the Revo, though.
Kind of impressive. He's actually made it that far.
Yeah, it's a good smoke train. Fahedin goes for a blind nade, a guess on it. Just having a look at the smokes. Toshbik goes down, as does Loxy. That's a double knock on the nade. Wild's not there to assist, and this should be a free and easy maneuver coming through. That must have been directly through those slits on the top of the shack there as well. What a nade that comes through there. Oh, yeah, I think you leave him. I think you leave him. I think if you're Wild, you're looking for a survival game. I don't even know why you bothered.
You got to know when to cut your losses on that one.
Yeah. No one to fold him.
Exactly, man. Can't be going for these gambles right now. This is not the time to do it. I mean, at least with the reset, obviously you've got the 2 players from Alpha 7. They were able to get the pick back up in Korea so they can play off one another, but they have to just bail. The position was compromised for so long. Kenotrope inside of the slight hut there. Back towards the hovercraft, tuck in, see if they could steal that one. Key still in it. Nade over the top, just into the back line. If that...
He's like, you want me to go scout that? I'll do it right now. No hesitation. And that's an initial knock coming through over towards Ragnar.
Yeah, that might have thrown you a bone. That's from R8 as well. So it's R8 being able to get the shot into the back line. They could engage off of this. It'd be the opportunity to go for it. Obviously, you can get that player back up pretty quickly, though. They're giving them time to work with on this. They've got a little bit of cover for it.
Yeah, they have to move down. But I think they understand that for Power, they've got to move first. Likely they'll send south, which I think Easy's doing right now. Kino Troops just been living inside that shack for a long, long time. No one's been able to get close enough to send nades in. It is very much in the open. 2 loot crates to work with, though, for Fireflux, so they get a gift from up on high.
tight on the elims as well. 7 for Power, 6 for both Nonshin Red Force and Fireflux. You feel like they basically just had freedom to wait for the push to come towards them. Easy set up with a bit of paranoia about Marth's angle. He knows where he is now off the back of the shots that were fired over. Just the risky run of leaving yourself exposed from the back.
Doxy's gonna move, and soon. Ralph knows it, just hold the angle. Has a rough idea now where the other players are, from Fireflux at least. Pass that information back across. We'll take this shot, and he was just looking off to the right. Oh, caught slacking. Ketch will pick up that elim. They could crash this if they wanted. I think they'd much rather get rid of Power though first.
Still the moves Power have been making. Do the push back over onto Marth. You steal away the bit of cover from him for now. Still 3 players alive. Getting a lot of reads onto this. Attention being drawn over towards Fireflux as well from the majority of the squads. And the Kenotrope still just being able to live on borrowed time. Just sat tucked in, dropping the smokes, keeping it uncomfortable for teams to get close.
Again, I think what's happening right now is the nades used by Falcons versus Gavax, which I think was unnecessary. They were going to go down at some point either way, as that blue pushed them out. Koa does find Ketch. What a shot. And what a timing on it. No one goes down, and they can crash it. I think they have to crash it. Ralph's going to send in first here. Dropping as much medication as possible. Complete misread on the angle. Has to be happening from Redox. Koa's left behind, and Madcap lives this one out.
Oh, man. The shots from the side from Kenotrope are huge as well to buy time, and this comes back to bite them in the bottom. I mean, you can get the res back up, get him in position. They've still got a good angle to fight with on this one. Fragments them massively. And for Power, they might be in a spot to potentially steal some of this away. You got the scout from Vahidan at least looking for the read back over.
I'm just not entirely sure what the idea was. I think they'd bought themselves some time, in which case they could start looking out over towards Power. They didn't even bother to try and scout those players. Ketch is going to send out of the way, immediately ducks down, M79 in the hands, but it will be Ragnar to find those shots, just barely clipping him through the grass. I don't know why Ralph would have wanted that angle in the first place. Like, where do you go from there? I think your only option was to wrap west.
Yeah. The Fireflux had running so low, he had no shells left for. The Fireflux had running so low, he had no shells left for that. So when he drops, couldn't fire out smoke to shroud himself. Both of them now go down. You're out of commission, leaves us with a final 3. Koa barely crawling into the zone, belly on the ground, looking for the angle towards Kenotrope. Oh, the timing!
So exposed. He can take this shack though and play in it, and hope he gets a second. There's a player on his right though, and he does not know.
Ragnar with the angle, nade over the backside, shots at the feet, so low on HP. 1 bullet and a dream is all that he'd need. The peek back up. Oh, the knock on the Ragnar fragments Power, but they've still got the manpower advantage on this one, and it's down to Falcons with just Koa. Peek over the top side, spots the head of Easy, shrouded with the smokes, but bullets coming in from 3 separate angles.
It's a nightmare scenario. Just has to guess the angles. We'll just send back. I mean, well played to Koa. Again, it seems like the player on that team that sort of has his head screwed on a little bit. I don't understand that push from Ralph. I don't know why he'd want that position from Fireflux. Again, he just try and wrap on top of Power. It's an interesting one, Jackie. But again, Falcons do get themselves a second place. I love that they push that position. A lot of times they just won't take those opportunities when they're right in front of them. And this time at least, they picked up the leaflet.
Yeah, they bit at it when it was provided. It might not have been as clean as they were hoping for, but I tell you what, for Power, they were mopping up squads like a spilt drink. Some fantastic action on that one. A great second game, an early chicken dinner, and looking more like the Power that we know and love.
It is about time there for Power as well to start pushing those numbers upwards. It was a good play, very well played. Obviously, sweeping on that western side was really nice. Heading up that top side, it's an unfortunate game for Narvalo. I think we've had plenty of moments there where Narvalo has gone down a little bit early. Not necessarily his fault. Just a struggle.
ညီလေးပါဝင်ရမဲကိုချစ်ကန်ရပါပါ
Ahead.
ဟုတ်တယ်
And rotate back to the desk after this short break.
ပါပါဘန်တို့သူကခိုးကြည့်နေတာပဲ20တော့ လောက်စောစီသိမ်းပြီးဝိုင်းကြီးအားပေးနေတာကြိုက်တယ်စောစီသိမ်း Facebook မှာ copyright မိလို့ဗျာ YouTube ပဲလာလွှင့်တာလောတယ် ရိုးကျိုးတွေတော့မလို့ထင်တယ်ဝိုင်းတော့အဲ့ဒီနေ့ပွဲရမြန်တယ်တိတ်မကြောက်စောင့်ရတယ်ပါလေတိတ်မကြောက်ဒီနေ့မြန်ကြောက်ဟုတ်ပါချက်ဒီပေါ့
I'm currently here with Team Gamex ahead of our survival stage. I have to ask you, why do you think it was that the group stage performance was a little bit of a struggle for you boys?
Because it's like our first international tournament.
Nó đi bơi đi nên nhẹ này. Sao mà tên chả?
First his tournament ever, LAN tournament. So we struggled. We need more experience. Just time. Just need more time, and I think we.
Tôi đi rồi bám ai mày? Mà nó cho finally chi à? Finally mà mình mà đến đây nè. Chua. Tôi đi rồi bám.
Not to change it. Like if you play online or LAN, it's like same game, same tactics. Just different team, like more powerful than our region, but still we can do it.
And speaking a little bit more about the performance that you had, there was a distinct lack of eliminations throughout a lot of the games. Talk to me about the game plan heading into survival stage. Can we possibly see more aggression coming through from you?
In survival stage, I don't think we're gonna play aggressive for this stage. As a team, I think we will play by the way who make us win only.
And obviously, my last question for you boys. You headed into this entire event having won the National Egypt Championship. Do you think the play style of all of these international teams is much different?
Exactly, too much different because like national championship is way different with international.
那你贴多出来啊是玩机啊然后得
It's
慢
tight
慢
on
被
the
压
balance
的
as well. 7 for power, 6 for
No,
both
we're
Motion
in
Red
a cut.
Force and Fire Flux. You feel like they basically just had freedom
Ah,
to wait for the push to come towards
F7
them.
爆啊
Easy set up with a bit of paranoia
NS.
about Marf's angle. He knows where he is now off the back of the shots that were fired over.
Match on the grassy pastures of Erengel. Joining me is Seven as well as Maxman. Seven's loving it. He loves that Power's been able to take this one. Talk to me about Power.
I was just happy to see them play like how when we would just tell them.
တို့ရကွာပြိုင်းတယ်မစောတော့ဘူးလားမစောတော့ဘူးပြကျွန်တော်
Because they would end up third partying quite a lot. You know, don't worry, I'll break it down for you. 12 eliminations out of this team, but they were just
Team by
more
sort of.
proactive. They were third partying.
Feel out,
They
but-
were making sure that they got a lot of ground. At one point, they were having a 1-1-2 split, which was quite impressive. And then I mean, at the end, the way that they were able to play that,
Feel out, but
just
kind of.
waiting until the last second, sending 2 players towards the south, maintaining 1 player there towards the top of the hill. That was the winning play.
All the teams in this game were pretty much in the field like, please, sir, can we have a good position? Power, no, this is our mountain. You're not going up here. And actually, because of that, they kind of push away E-Arena. They eliminate that team onto the western side, and they avoid Alpha 7 from claiming the high ground position pretty much this entire game. So they were very, very controlling on that little high ground position up northwest. So Power, they had a really good setup on their second day of the group stage, and it seems like we are seeing a bit of a continuation of that here in the survival.
Another strong fight back from Fireflux as well, coming in as the only team really from the east. I thought maybe we could have a bit more of a 2-2 split going on for them. The 4 in that one location seems a bit much, Max, and it did cost them some casualties.
Well, unfortunately, you got a lot of teams around you. You have Nongshim, you have Falcons looking your way. One little hay bale is just not going to cut it, defensively speaking, and you're just going to be losing players. So it didn't work out for them. It's unfortunate, good entry point, but the circle is just forcing you in a bad spot that you can't defend properly.
And it didn't help them that they were just focusing so much on the 5 happening between Kino and then Alpha 7. They didn't even realize what was happening towards the south of them. Zero scouting. It ends up hurting them.
Let's take a look at the match report overall here for this one. As Mr. Joker here getting himself 6 eliminations. Catch though, that's actually quite impressive damage from coming in from the fields, Max, considering that you're really trying to bunker down, really not draw too much attention about yourself. So that's very well done.
They were trying to play it silent until Power got involved, because they got in that one building on the high ground position of that big plateau up north, and they were just getting naded to hell by all of Power. Like I think the Power were just out of utility after that fight. They just looted the crates of the arena. They were really struggling at that point.
One team though that did have a potential semblance of control.
Oh no!
Do you want me to bring up Falcons?
We can talk about Falcons all day.
Should we?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, let's look at this. We don't push 1 by 1 normally, and what are Falcons doing? 2 solo drive-bys. Fireflux to instantly punish.
This
is literally, you use this as an example of how not to do a push. And Falcons, unfortunately, a team that we expect to do well, just not able to claim that control. That could have been a game-winning angle if they got it too.
It really would have been. And I think what keeps hurting this team is just losing Narvalo so early on. Once again, back-to-back games where they end up losing Narvalo, and they're kind of forced to do this kind of pushes. They're maybe not expecting it. It is a dumb push. Something that we're not used to out of this team, but then you're going to have to readjust. Luckily for them, Koa did decide to stay in the back and very proactive, showing why he was the MVP for PMSL EU.
I actually think if that fight, even if they do beat Fireflux, I think the car keeps going in the blue zone. So I think it was like it's phase 8. I think they still go out even if they win it. So that was a bit of an odd one. Don't do that. Don't do that. So.
Yeah, fair. A difficult though finish for some of those teams in the fields. Obviously, as I say, Power though flexing down to the bottom to establish even more control. We were musing over the idea of whoever's going to win out these hill fights from that west side should have a good opportunity here to be able to get themselves big points on the board.
Well, at one point, we even saw Alpha 7 when they were being a little bit passive there towards the edge play. We're okay, let's see where you're going to be going, right? Are you going to be going towards the north? Are you going to be maybe fighting Power? Are you going to be waiting for a third-party situation? And no, they just end up deciding to fully send it with 2 players towards the middle. It didn't end up working out them. For a split second, Max, though, we saw the hovercraft. We're like, maybe? But it didn't end up working.
The hovercraft in the field finish is like
Pretty good.
It's a gift from the gods. Okay, just have, especially when it's exploded, it's just a fortress you created at that point. I actually played a game of Ultimate Royale. I had 4. we had 4 hovercrafts, and you just like make a little building, and you just
Ridiculous.
Did you win?
Yeah, no.
All right, well,
Like, we got
Never
never
mind.
mind.
well, we have a lot going on here, not only the PMWC, but also we have the PUBG Mobile Airdrop Carnival, and it is live this weekend from August the 1st to the 3rd. Log in, summon surprise airdrops, and collect 2025 airdrop vouchers to enter prize draws for official merchandise, smartphones, BD partner rewards, permanent in-game items, and more. Every participant is guaranteed to win. Additionally, jump in game now and vote for your favorite airdrop partner. You might even score some awesome surprise gifts from them, which is very lovely. Don't miss this year's Airdrop Carnival and unbox your lovely surprises, Mr. Seven. What do you think about that?
I've done it.
You've done it? You're on? You're good to go?
I'm not gonna say
So
what I got.
match 3.
I haven't done it yet, actually. I've done my in-game predictions.
You've
that's
been
it.
busy. You're here at PMWC.
Yeah, true.
All
I
right.
thought you were unboxing surprises last night. Oh man.
Shush you. It's time to get to the game here at the Erangel once again. Game number 3 for the
Game number
Survivor
3,
Stage.
Erangel.
Kalaris.
right.
Oh, man. You caught me off guard.
Oh,
Hello.
shut up, you.
All right, my bad.
Shut up, James. We're gonna unbox this game right now.
Okay, he's just gone for it.
I try to give you one of these.
I didn't see that.
Oh, I try to do the so for clarification, try to give the old.
He's waved a hand at
the old-
me.
the old
He's given one of
Matrix.
these.
I'll
Yeah,
give
he's
the
given
old
one of these.
Matrix, yeah.
Let's do it together. Are you ready for game 3?
on.
Well, I was going to go for of, but you've kind of, you've gone the wrong way there. Yeah, but you've gone for
You've
the wrong
got to
word.
deal with that.
Well, look, you've gone for the wrong word, and that's fine. We'll let you off. Everyone shame blank in the chat.
Was there a script I was meant to follow?
You don't follow the script?
I don't have one.
Well, you should have.
I'll wing it, much like the player.
Silly boy. Actually, it's pretty good. It's 2 wings.
It is. A double winger. That's me and you right there. On either side. Double propellers. On either arm. But yeah, we're heading over to match number 3. I am
You tangled.
tangled, dude.
Untangled.
I've untangled
Okay,
myself.
good.
This team's going to have to untangle themselves from this awkward plane,
Okay.
which is a straight line, but the drops are not easy. You're going to get a little bit lost in the forest.
欢迎
of
Noble
the drop.
It's quite a windy day.
It is. Getting blown all over the place. In the meantime, a lot of teams will have to send far north here, or as north as they can get on this particular plane path. And it will change some of these drops up a little bit. Started expecting Kinotrope to maybe try and hot drop over towards the Falcons. But they're going to head down towards Ferry Pier, which I think is, yeah, that's open, so that's fine. They could take that. It's your turn now.
Wow, it seems like you want to do all the talking.
Hey.
I just wondered if you keep going.
No, bro. I'm done.
It's all right. We do a little back and forth here. We're trying out a new stand-up comedy routine. Let us know if that landed. Otherwise, we'll just do normal intros for tomorrow.
I tried to make it very clear. I didn't make it very clear.
Yeah.
Let's be honest with myself.
Well, that's fair.
A little bit of introspection is
The
good.
Rock
YG,
doesn't give a
YG.
damn about
Okay.
what you've got to say, because I'm all about the gameplay, and that's what we're here for, Blank.
可以输了一下呀，我们
Now you
Can I
talk.
speak
That's you.
now?
Now you talk.
My turn. Woo! Back on the mic
Dropped a
again.
woo.
It's my turn.
A woo.
It's amazing.
Give us some gravitas.
I'm quite gravitas.
Yeah.
Woo!
There you go.
Would you like that? Was that good?
Surely that's got everyone hyped up, right?
Yeah, I'm hyped.
Yeah.
I've hyped
Nah.
myself up.
Good.
Body
Yeah, I'm
drip,
glad.
yeah.
You'd need to.
Look at this. You know, we got a little bit of introspection. You got to hype yourself up, get yourself into it. This is the advice I would give to all these teams.
Ironically, that actually is a pretty good summary of the sort of mindset you need to be going into. Halfway point of the day, right? You've got to try and get those jitters out of you, forget about what's happened in some of the games for the rough starts for a few teams. Try and keep that momentum building. For a few of our squads, they certainly have been able to pinpoint that momentum. The power here, looks like we're thrown into
It won't allow us to win.
instantly versus
မနေမရှိရင်
influence rage.
rush လို့တော့နည်းနည်းခက်တယ်
And the rage of easy, the last day of group, certainly influenced them here.
အဲခုမှတွေ့တော့တယ်
Have
အော်
turned into some Absolute
ထောက်ပေးတဲ့နေရာလည်းမဆိုး
monstrous
တော့မဆိုး
opponents. Currently second place.
ဟို
Oh,
That is a beautiful jump.
hell of a jump on that.
Look how serious he looked as well.
Oh yeah, you've got to be focused up. This is horse gameplay. That's what we're bringing to you live.
Through the fields of Erangel. Straight hoofing it.
A
နောက်မှာတစ်ကောင်
glorious
ရှိသေးတယ်
gallop. The Stallion. Power Gaming.
Ragnar in the front lines.
တွေ့သွားပြီ
Charging back to his team to assist.
That is not a trot. It is an all-out sprint for domination.
He's coming.
He
အော်
stopped.
Oh, he's too late.
Yeah, he might have needed to be a bit quicker on the horse road.
Oh, no,
It's
Avi.
not really worked. Influence Rage are able to fight back and take down one of power.
Oh, Vahedon's in a bad spot now. There were some shots
Influence
from
Rage
Side
ပြန်ပြီး
through,
စီးသွား
Vahedon's all on his own.
Oh,
Just got
aye.
Pumpy up top side. And he takes a disgusting tag as he drops.
ကောင်းတယ်တစ်ဖက်သွားတယ်
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
နှိပ်လာတော့မယ်
Mac 10 Madness up close. SMG starts
Oh.
offside the head. Ragnar from the top side though.
အဲ့နှစ်ကောင်ပါသွားပြီ
What he's made of. Bullets down range. Fragments influence Rage once again. Lil Boy got to make the move. Drop the smoke. See if he can get his teammate up.
နှိပ်ထည့်ပြီနှိပ်ထည့်ပြီ
Easy. Ooh, only one though.
We know that he's a bad boy when it comes to it. Let's see if he can hit
ကွက်
this
ဒီ
one.
ကွက်ဒီ
It will
ကွက်ဒီ
be
အဲ့နှိပ်ကွက်ဒီ
very influential. Goes through.
အော်
Bounces.
အိမ်ပြင်ရောက်သွားတာ
Easy. Onto the M16. Ragnar's just sending it, dude.
He's going in. Close on the doorway, ready for it.
He was late to the party. Everyone's already left, but he's determined to keep the music pumping.
He just dives into action. 17 bullets in the clip. SMG. There's the secondary if he needs it. Pull out the UMP. Yeah, you know me. Ragnar about to make some crime scenes.
ကောင်းတယ်ကွာ
Dive by. Little
Oh.
boy down and out. Not the big man. in
အော်
this
ကောင်းတယ်ရောက်ရေ
Turn around for Ragnar. Feel his wrath.
Pulls out the 4 bullet. That's all he needs. Nade goes through. Ragnar dives out.
ကောင်းတယ်ကွာ
On the stairs, still takes
ဒီနေ့
the
တင်းက
tag.
သူတေကိုတေကျွေးနေတာ
And we are in a 1v1.
ဘေးနားတက်ပါစီလာပြီ
And Diego top side, but in comes another team. It is
အဲအိုင်ဒီတွေကတက်ပါစီလာကောက်ပြီဟိုကလေငြိမ်သွားပြီ
Starts to cheer Ragnar's name. Intense game. Drop the
ပါဝါ
shoot.
ကောင်လေငြိမ်သွား
Silence over the fight in the compound. Diego tucked in, trying to play on the back foot easy. About to be hit with a heavy nade up close and personal. Just a desk to provide cover.
Playing it safe. Molotov in. Have to climb this one or
Right,
just
bro.
fully take the brunt. Walks out the way. No one's seen him just yet. Gets the
တစ်
tag.
ကောင်နှိုးပေးလိုက်သေးတယ်
It's not enough with silence. Who will silence the party here? The boombox thrown out the window. Diego in a tough scenario now. For Influence Rage, Power will take the #1 spot, but for how long? Only 1 point ahead of Fire Flux, but they have had a good run today so far.
Nick.
Diego,
Oh.
you are sweating bullets right now. Off angle peek on the side, couple shots connect, but Silence does not give a damn. Spams the shots into the loot crate, adds insult to injury. An intense game, make out with the cleanup crew plays on the fight from Influence Rage and Power.
Hansel's a 3 for 3.
အတင်းကတော့ white သွားပြီဗျာစောဒီ
Wild step down, by the way. Now I'm looking at it. Alpha 7 in 6th with just the 11 points. That drops down to 9 in 7th. We're in just single digits all the way through to 16th. AX with a big fat goose egg.
Oh.
Gamax got a bail with his fajita, the hop behind the wheel. Terrified about having a bike taken out of him as Squash was looking for the setup with the trace. Able to limp out of there with his lives behind the steering wheel.
We're in pretty central. This is actually one of the more fair circles we've seen in quite a while here, Jackie. Regnum Kaya leaving Toshpik behind over towards Rozok just in case it does back up that way. And for Regnum Kaya currently in 9th place with just the 8 points. It's not been an ideal result, but heading back up over towards Rozok. This is a good opportunity for them.
So gone.
A lot of potential in.
So Rozok ကူးဆုံးပြန်ဒီဆုံးပြန်နော်မိုက်ဝိုင်းကြီးကနည်းနည်းလေးတိုးရမယ်ဝိုင်းကြီးကသူ့ရှေ့မှာအများကြီးဝင်သွားပြီ
Will have horror.
ကျွန်တော်ဟိုဘက်တောင်ပေါ်ဟောနော် shooting rate ပေါ်ဘက်ချမ်းမှာတော့ဘယ်အသင်းမှမရှိဘူးအဲ့ဘက်ချမ်းကြီးကလွတ်နေဒါပေမဲ့အဲ့ဘက်ချမ်းဇုံမပါလောက်ဦးထင်ပြီးတော့ဗျာဘယ်သူမှမယူထားရတယ်ကဲ IG တွေနဲ့ချပြီအိုးIG နှစ်ယောက်တော့သွားပြီဗျာအဲ့ဒါကောင်လေးပေးရပြီအဲ့နှစ်ယောက်တော့နောက်တစ်သင်းထက်ရှိသေးတယ် IG က position အရင်ဖြန့်လာတာလေ
Diving into action off the back of the punch.
ASD.
Henry firing out bullets with the scar, ripping people to pieces. Devotee locking down the wide sight lines up front as well.
2 points accrued. That 0-pointer completely gone. 2 points accrued. That 0-pointer completely gone. Not the case no more. No way you're Molotov. Cooking silence in the corner. Put on for barbecue. Unnecessary, but tasty. They'll take that point.
Ozzy Sands barbecue opening soon. Pre-order your tickets for the grand launch.
We got turkey on the menu. Kinotrope, 2 players up. Falcons off in the distance there. I think for Regnum Kaya, if I'm looking at it objectively, I think what happened there is that they've had a couple of games in the past. Ooh, nice name.
What do you nigga?
A couple of games in the past where they've left Rozok. And it's come back to bite them later on. So they tried to take this 2-2 split. When you get this circle shift back this way, there is going to be a lot of teams flowing through this area, right? They want to play the 2 rows. They want to play the warehouses. I think it was a dangerous split, and they had to make a quick decision of whether they want to stay on Rozok or they want to regroup here. But they didn't have the time to make it happen. Ozzy-san, final player left remaining. 1 Molotov remaining. We know that he can be nasty with it. It's gone.
No.
They do okay. You want to know what you
damage onto both.
Yeah, we did it.
Able to withstand the shrapnel and at least stay alive for now. Arian setting up on the sideline behind the rock as well, trying to get a read onto Ozzy-san.
This is getting awkward now. Falcons do peek their heads out of Pachinki as this one moves further away. Loot drop coming through. Take a look at the map.
Okay, you bet.
This has been very central.
Oh, missile.
It's above towards Rozok and Regnum Kaya.
Rozok missile. So Kuma Chia going to share fine.
This has happened so many times to them throughout their tournament history.
One year, the alien looked there.
Oh,
he go more alien looked there.
Shot back over from Sleepy as well into Fireflux, having a great day of it. It's a catching a bullet, and not in the manner that you would want to.
Hey, this is nice actually. In the midst of all of it, Falcons able to find themselves a spot. Mafioso, perfect parking. That's going to lock down the doorway.
Reinventing the meaning of parallel parking on that one.
Vertical.
Oh yeah. Straight up, ready to climb, and that's what they're going to be looking for. Alpha 7 going to want to find some points on this one.
Don't know how Ozzy-san's made it in there, but he has as a solo. This is Falcons' favorite spot, by the way. They love playing this position. My only issue with it is that the 3-story sometimes gets pushed a little bit too hard, and I don't think the Falcons quite have a solution for it yet. I'd like to see how they play it out this game, because they have a huge amount of potential from this position. Nice high ground to work with, nice vision, claiming 2 buildings. Play off the back of one of the upside.
ACK ကောက်လဲIG ကြောင့်2ယောက်တည်းကြံမြင်မယ်ဒီကောင်လေးစုံရနေတော့ AC နေလို့ရသေးတယ်ဒီကောင်လေးချီကိုတိုင်းပါတာဒီကောင်လေးပြဿနာတက်
currently in the top 8 but they want to secure it a little bit more.
ဝိုင်းကြီးမနာရောက်နေပြီလဲမသိကျွန်တော်
Get the little establishing shot as well, top down POV, giving you an understanding of just how close these squads are to one another.
Minus ဝိုင်းကြီးဟိုကုန်းဝိုင်းနေရတာလေဟုတ်တယ်အဲ့ဒီကလွတ်တယ်
Yeah, replay on this one. It was cinematic. It was cinematic.
ဟိုဘိန်းပါဝါရောက်
He made it through the window.
Did. Squeezed it through. Like a TARDIS. The window that is. Bigger than you think.
Yeah.
It's bigger on the on the inside.
On the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's smaller on the inside, it'd be a bit of a shame.
It'd be weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I went to my TARDIS. It's a closet.
Yeah. Where's all the space?
This is a high-tech machinery.
Budget cuts. We couldn't have all the space on the inside.
It'd be a weird parallax effect. I'm not gonna like it.
Okay. ဖြတ်ပြီးပြစ်စမ်းအော် smile
out the window for Yangon. One of their like top players over towards that group stage, just putting a huge amount of work in. There is some games where Yangon's able to get like quite a few points. Usually they do limp in towards those final circles though. This is hella awkward for Falcons.
Ai be do ma.
Send over towards that eastern side. Now Gamax might have played a blinder on this one accidentally. Obviously you don't know what the circle's going to go. That's actually a really nice place to play. And gives you a huge
3နှစ်ကျော်ပြီမတွေ့ဟုတ်တယ် bro တော်ဆေးပြ2နှစ်လောက်ရှိပြီ bro ဆိုတူ
A minute ago, not so much anymore. Horror's quite glad, despite being one of the first to this location, they didn't fully commit. And they didn't have to. They had the option to play on this eastern side, and they'll get a lot of benefit off the back of that.
Oh.
Gets worse for Regenkari as well, of course. Been trapped as just a duo for so long. Alpha 7 able to get the sight lines over, so we'll commit onto that with Toshpik being knocked down on his last legs. Loxy not really in a spot to quickly make the dash to grab him just yet. Nades over the top. Got the smokes on the bottom of the ground, at least try and provide some semblance of cover here.
For a team that starts in Rozhok, they're pretty rubbish at it. Thoughts?
I'm just going to let that one ruminate, really. I just thought I'd let that air for a bit.
I don't think that they're bad at it. I think it's just indecision, dude.
Sorry, are you moving further away? Is that backtracking?
I have backtracking.
Okay.
It's not a case they're bad at it, it's indecision.
ကြိုက်တယ် bro
If I'm being real, it's indecision.
Fair enough. Well, I think that's also what we have seen a couple of times already.
ကိုပြင်းကြီးက YouTube မရဘူးလားမသိဘူးနော်ကိုပြင်းကြီးက Facebook ဆိုလို့ချင်းလာကိုပြင်းကြီးအဲ့ဘယ်လိုကြောက်ကိုပြင်းကြီးက YouTube ဆိုရင်သူပါတယ်ကြည့်လို့အဆင်မပြေလို့
We should move. Like we can't just sit in our drop spot and like you get on with almost this hyperactivity. We've got to take a 2-2 split or something. Surely it's not going back over to Rozhok again. But no, unfortunate. I think that is the difficulty for a team that starts in Rozhok is that you kind of want to make some kind of a play early. You don't want to just sit around forever. Cole's already found the 2 elims though, which is nice. Settling Falcons in a firm 3rd spot on the tables. I genuinely do think that those games that they've just come off the back of were very important. I think you put it well. They were just trying to and it's so funny because when Falcons start playing like that, it's like we just need these points. We don't need anything drastic here. Their gameplay goes up by a high margin.
Yeah, you can see the percentage play is what they go for, right? If it's not over 90%. We're seeing it actually work for them. It's very T with a connection back over on.
Easy, fine, easy, kill it,
Was to join the rest of the squad up towards the compound side, so a bit of a split, 1-3 on them, having to try and link back up. It's Volt that's a key piece of this team as well.
Yeah. One thing is that whenever you look at the play, they're not the best team in this lobby. I mean that's. They are giving it their all. It comes back to Rozhok. Gamax also quite
ကဲဝိုင်းကြီးနည်းနည်းတော့တိုးရပြီဗျာဇုံကတော့ဒါပြောရမယ်ဆိုရင်ဒီဘက်ချမ်းမပါဘဲနဲ့ Rozo ဘက်ကြီးကိုထပ်ဆွဲတော့ Rozo ဘက်မှာရှိနေတဲ့အသင်းတွေအကုန်လုံးကတော့ဘာမှထူထူသိလို့ဆရာမလိုဘူးသူတို့အကုန်လုံးကကွန်ပေါင်းဟိုးထားတဲ့လူတွေကြီးပဲပွင့်ကုန်နေဝိုင်းကြီးတို့ဒီဘက်ကလာမယ်နာတော့သင်းပါ GM8 တို့အဲ့လိုသင်းတွေကတိုးရမှာ GM8 ကလည်းသူကအထဲတိုးဖို့မလွယ်ဝိုင်းကြီးကိုထောက်မှာဗျာဒီဖန်အောင်မှာဒီကောင်လေးကလည်း စမုတ်ဘလော့မှာရတာမယ်ဟုတ်တယ်ကားတွေကတော်တော်များပါနေပြီဝိုင်းကြီးကသွားဖို့လာဖို့ကနည်းနည်းမို့တော်တော်ခက်ခဲနေတဲ့အနေအထားဖြစ်နေစေကလောက်စမိုင်းဟုတ်ပြီနှစ်ယောက်တော့ဒီသွားမှရတော့GMH တွေကတော်တော်အာရုံပေးနေ Amazing
really especially in these kind of lobbies now
not feeling very galacticos you know
no
not very Higgs boson they don't
စေကလောက်နော်ပြီမာနက်စမိုင်းတိုးတာတို့တဲ့မကြီးနေမှာနဲ့တိုးတာတို့ A7 နေရှိရကွန်မောင်းဝင်မှုများသွားတယ်โอ้အနေအရင်များနော်အနေအရင်များတာနော်အဲ့ဒါကြီးဝိုက်သွားပြီသူတို့ကရွေးချက်ကြီးတိတ်မရှိဘူးဗျာဒီလားရိုမီယိုတယောက်တော့နော်ပေးလိုက်တယ်ကာရိုဒါပေမဲ့မရဘူး A7 နေရှိနေတဲ့ကွန်မောင်းကြီးကိုဒဲကြီးသွားတိုးလို့ဖြစ်သွားအဲ့လွတ်သွားလို့ရှိရင်ဟိုဘက်က E Arena ရဲ့ပဲကြာမှာသူတို့ကဘာမှလုပ်လို့မရဘူး
instantly start shooting
မ IE တော့မှနှစ်ယောက်တည်းကြံပေမဲ့ဒီကောင်လေးကကွန်မောင်းရတာတော့အဆင်ပြေတယ်အဲ GMH နဲ့ RA ဒဲကျွေးကောင်းလိုက်တဲ့နေတွေကွာဒဲထုတာဒဲတဲ့နော်ခန်းနဲ့မပြစ်တော့ဘူးနေတွေပဲတဲထုတာရှော့ကန်းနေပါရင်မလာတော့ဘူး 1v1 အောင်နေနဲ့ software တွေပဲတဲပြစ်တာဟမ်
the rest of R8 not in a position to assist
GMH
the med kit off
တာတီးလေးတော့ရသွားပြီ
teammates
နေတွေထက်လာပြီ
has to ricochet the nade with the geometry there of the building doesn't quite land on target so they get ample time to deal with the fragmented players from R8 and Damar really just trapped on the push up here.
Curious what this play
Sure.
from Sleepy is. I think he's just trying to get a little bit of information. R8 goes down again. It's been a rough spree for R8 today. APK. Let's get hit with a nade from Nongshim Red Force.
And S.
Their way up and they have picked
တန်း join တာဒီကောင်လေးကဘယ်တဲ့ဥစားဖြစ်နေတယ်ထင်တာ
nades, but it is horror actually picking up a couple of these shots from
3v4 ပဲဟိုကောင်လေးလည်းဆိုင်လို့ရပါ 3v4 နေရာဇုံဒီနေရာရပြီးသွားရင်အပေါ်နည်းဆက်လန်းလို့ရပြီသူဒီနေရာလာလုနေရ
It's interesting as well. Nonshin Red Force, as much as they haven't really been on the forefront of the observing in this game, they're still being points a little bit here and there with some of the rotates we've seen. This is one where they line up, top heavy angle for Doxy, unloads the magazine, detonates his way through. Sigamax trapped in position. Paranoia inside the building, but Tizzy able to compose himself and find that one onto Fajita.
It's quick. Chief from Nongshim Red Force is very quick. And should rack themselves up to 6 elims on this one. Again, they started off really strong on their day 3. Alright, last day of the group stage. And it was the way that Max put it right, they were slipping.
Yeah.
And it's the best way to put it, they were slipping. Pressure mounted a little bit too much for them. And they couldn't keep up the gas towards the end of the day. They've gone away from it. I think they looked visibly upset with themselves as well on day 3. You could only feel bad for them.
Yeah, you saw some of the individuals, you know,
to
show their emotion. If they had a bad game, it was very obvious. But I mean, it felt like they did at least kind of unpack the bag with it. So you know, it was a rough game. They were able to reset. You didn't carry those emotions on.
Dude, there was a big solve in that last day for them.
Yeah.
Right? There was a big solve on their gameplay, how they wanted to work these things out. And I liked that. I did like that from them. Figured out their gameplay. Am I going to bring that into survival?
Oh,
Day 3. Tizzy finding yet another with Volt on a long angle.
Oh.
Baited out for the
shot
coming back in from Sky.
He has been influential on the map. Like some really good shots from the M4.
No. Sure.
Sky and No Fear. racking them up and knocking them down. You like the heads-up positioning of the crosshair as
အိုး
well.
ကောင်းလိုက်တာကွာ
It's
short
these
ပြီမှာ
fights where they are just
PS ကနေမြန်မာလိုထွက်ပြေး
there's no way to move up. Good clean-up crew.
NS ကနည်းနည်းကန်ကောင်းသွားတယ်နော်
Was the last man.
ဒီဘက်ကကျွန်တော် horror နည်းနည်းကူညီပေးလိုက်သလိုဖြစ်သွားတယ်
And it's actually, to be honest with you, that early rotate out from Sleepy was quite nice. They got a lot of information off the back of that. They knew which angles to watch. They didn't have to move out from the eastern side of Rosok, but they do it anyway just to pick up some free elims and clear out the eastern side. That's their big goal there. Now they can start to work the issue over towards the west.
This is a classic fight. Feels like AX and Nunshin Red Force have been thrown into a hell in a cell again and again. These two teams have been scrapping throughout the entire tournament in group stage and again here in survival stage. Delayed bow on this one. Nades over the top. Arian trying to keep them pinned in position.
short အမှန်တော့နည်းလို့
Tizzy with the nade back over. Binny relatively low as well. Has to top himself back up.
Nade after nade. That looks like a better air burst in my opinion, but Cyrax does take a lot of damage. Thunder strike from the air there. In the meantime, Horror moves up over towards Fireflux. They find Solus as a solo in one of the buildings. On Reservoir right now, it's hard to get yourself across to, and he should just bleed out on this one.
Close quarters, Nate. You got to tuck in with a shotty. Good tag.
ပတ်သိထိုးမှရတော့မယ်
P90 up. Henry inside of the smoke with the shotty.
Find it one, another. Function Red Force. There
အေး
we
ဒီ
go.
ကိဆောင်ရရ
Cut down. Domination.
I know,
Henry's
huh?
side of the ring. Another good nade coming through from Horror. They are working the angle.
Oh, a prime nade from Zizzy. Right on target. Fragments the setup from AX. Henry has to make a hero maneuver on this one. Wraps up close. Molly over the top. Smoke up front to provide some sort of cover for his teammate. But Tizzy peeks in
အိုး
from
အပိုင်းထားပြတာ
get the quick reposition off and switch to the right.
Oh,
foot
yeah,
for
no.
the job. Couldn't handle it. Cyrax in the back line now. Spamming through the smoke, but it goes both ways. Not much vision to work
Oh.
with on this.
အော်ဖေကုန်းနေထက်လာ join နေမှာ
Hello, this is a cool rotate coming through from Falcons. They wrapped all the way from that north side. They left one player behind. Redox takes out one, and they're looking to clear up Nongshim Red Force on this third party.
Okay.
This is way more aggressive from the Falcons. They start to flap their wings a little bit.
Turning up the tempo, and it's what you want to see. We were saying they've been playing smart, passive games, looking for placements. But mixing in a good score on eliminations as well would be huge for their momentum. The bonnet hits the face of Tizzy, and they look to end the opportunity.
Roll him down on the
any
reverb.
more elims on this. Up close, Raf takes a bit of damage from the peak, but they do handle
There
it.
you go,
Close
7K.
with a UMP, and you stop Nonshin Red Force that were building a huge elimination game. 10 already. They're taken out of commitment. Second closest, of course, is now Falcons with 7.
I mean, this is great though for the Falcons because now they have control over towards the south side of Rozok. They also have Redox still holding that building on the northwest side. He holds his own. It's the first time we've seen a solo Falcon being able to do that. And that's really cool because now they have a lot of presence on the map here. Needs be, they can wrap back round again. It's going to be a little bit awkward versus E Arena, but it is possible. So they have two corners of the map, so they can confirm on either side. The worst thing to happen here if it confirms fully northeast. That's the one thing they haven't accounted for.
ဒီစီပဲဒီဘာကြီးကလုံနေပြီ
The Arena and Alpha 7 as well, obviously in position for
နာဇုံတိုးရတာလေးရဗျာ
compounds. A lot of nades being
ဖေးချက်စရာမရှိတော့လို့ဘာကြီးက
They're ready for a crash, that's why. They know E Arena has to come across. They've heard the fighting on the south side as well. They're just priming them. That's a terrifying sight, by the way. 4 dudes.
တကယ်တမ်းဟိုအိုင်ကြည့်ရလားအဲ့ကောင်တွေကမှတကယ်နှစ်ကောင်တည်းနဲ့စပိုက်ဖြစ်နေ
Not a party I'm looking to
ဘိုး
get.
စော်လေးကိုမျိုးလေးကိုရွှေးချက်လိုက်တဲ့ကောင်တွေမှန်သွား
Auto strike of Alpha 7 ready if you come running up towards the compound. Of course, you've got that 2-2 split as well. Toxic and Loxy inside of the buildings. Cover to work with. Shots into the back line. Hora moving up.
ဒါ FF
Fireflux starting to reposition as well. That's the duo that's left alive here. They've had a great
Yeah.
day of it so far.
တုံးလေးလဲကျင်းနေပြီ
Some good smokes from Falcons, but there is a lot of sightlines to contend with. Koa's up first and will get knocked. Revo's got 5 nades, so plenty here to send over the
Oh.
top side. I think the Falcons are going to find this tough, honestly. Stop short. That's a good stop as well. They know the smokes haven't dissipated yet, so they can afford to stop short.
Nah,
There is a shot that goes through there as the Arena
Oh.
sees that Alpha 7 is distracted.
Oh, yeah, but more, yeah, not alone.
Now they're coming
Not
in
alone.
for Aura as well, down on the roadside. Narvalo is eating a ton of damage. Ralph's forced to push further up to actually get himself into cover to play with. So both barrels being given here.
Alpha 7 losing Revo. Squash just gets back up again. Tony K drops a nade, but it's long. They're in the kitchen. And needs to cook this nade to perfection. Ralph finding Revo, steals that one away, but it's Toshpik to take him out. It's all down to Redox. 6 teams, last circle.
Korea firing off the shots in close range. Holds back E-Arena. Only Mormon remains. They split on the push-up, hoping they could get in before the pick-me-up onto Squash. Didn't go that way. Comes back to haunt them.
Valo's still up, actually. Didn't even realize it. And he's going to try and get placement here. There's potential for it as well as everyone starts to get cut out on that northern side. Now Valo walking up. This is a bold
Yeah,
maneuver.
boy, I'm IE.
Finds one off the back of it. Mafioso's down. Mormon's still sending nades.
Knock on there, Jen. Knock on there, Jenny. Boy,
Mormon on the slow walk up. Pin pulled for the nade. Bounce round the corner. Squash gets flattened. Mormon makes the play. Potential for the follow-up as well. Close quarters combat. Carrillo trying to hold on for Alpha 7. Able to connect that back. Silence E-Arena, but now Narvello knows that he can make his move. Gets up close with the DBS.
Oh.
Huge kill. That is a beautiful to put them back into a position. He can get Squash back up.
Wait a minute. Regnum Kaya still going strong with Loxy. Hitting these shots here. It might not be end of the world after all. Carrillo has to send a nade over. It's not perfect, but now he's got to make the cross.
Carrillo going for it.
No way, Loxy.
Taking opportunities where they're presented. Regman Karia being able to play this one picture perfect with the opportunities that have been presented by other teams. Everyone's overlooked them. Line from No Fear, living up to his name as he pops up. Silences Loxy. There's the shot back over. And that's the way it goes.
Horror played that game incredibly well. From the early rotate into the eastern side, to push out slightly further over towards Gamax, spotting all the commotion over towards Nongshim Red Force and cutting away at their opposition. It's an edge, but shout out to Loxy. I did not think that Regnum Gaia would survive that long, and you do want Loxy as your final player on that team when it comes to those clutch moments.
Heads up calls. Reading it so well as well. Opportunities when everyone's attention was taken away from them. Like you said, subverting expectations. It was a brutal beginning for them, but they put it together. They piece away some points at the very least.
For Alpha 7, what a tough task they had there versus E-Arena, Falcons on one side. Not an easy maneuver to make happen. Carrillo does survive it all. Could have been pretty sick if Narvalo hit that shot, but
it certainly does. They're building. The wings have been spread, but the action is intense. So join us for more after the break.
Hi, my bro. Mingala. Con này. Con nó lâu nè. break လေ break လေ10 minute လောက် break လေလား
Pulsar Legionnaire available now. First outfit with special head animations and voice lines. The Pulsar Legionnaire set comes with its own super cute voice lines that can be toggled on or off.
What happened? Bye, friend. Hello, Earth. I'm here.
It also features the upgradable Hyperion ship DSR and Jet Reaver glider with special animations. Experience parachuting like never before. That's not all. Even more rewards await. Event period, July 25th, 2025 through August 26th, 2025. What are you waiting for? Get the new Guild set now.
Well, no swimming required for Horror here. They have the perfect compound to transition into Rosa, getting themselves that win here as we have got them win game number 3 on the board. Brilliant stuff by them. Joining me, Neptura, as well as Seven, to talk about this victory from them. Neptura, this was all them sweeping through, looking fantastic.
Okay.
As I would expect from a team of this caliber. Hora, I have always talked about Hora. I like them a lot. I like how they play. They played it basically how I would normally expect them to. They had a really good compound, as we were talking about. We saw them sweep that edge and just wait until the perfect time to strike. Once that strike was there, they went for it.
And what I really enjoyed even before that, it was a 2-2 split that they were holding towards the east of the circle. They had an opportunity to actually third-party a fight. I think it was Noncham Ramforce versus Gamex. They decided not to do that and just prioritize their game style. It worked out wonders for them, 19 points. And if we keep going down the list, I mean, it's good to see some of these names here at the top, Kyle. You got Alpha 7 with 13 points and Team Falcon as well there with 12.
They did something. No, I mean, of course, it's very important.
They did, though. It's talking about teams that did something. Is that AXTMG? 5 points, they got points.
Yes! Woo! The first 2 games, they got nothing. So we were hoping for a little bit of a step up from them, of course, here. And this is definitely a bit of a step up here, Neptura.
It is. I actually really liked how they played the south side as well, right? They had a really nice split. They kept things going, but they didn't get too far out of bounds, right? They kept it together and held it, and they did a really good job here.
And even before they ended up going towards the south there of Rosshog on the mountain, between the school area, I really enjoy what the third party that they ended up doing between Regnum Karya and Kino. That was perfect, and it showed that this team is now starting to be proactive. They're not just waiting and being too patient, which is ultimately what you want to see out of a team that's now experiencing a global event once again.
All right, are we going to talk about Falcons again? Because
yes.
There's some really cool things actually happening, Seven, of course. The rotations were amazing initially, I want to say. What do you think?
I mean, this right here, I felt like, and you kind of said it too, you said that this might have been the rotation of the tournament so far. I would definitely have to agree with that. I love that they did a 3-1 split too. They adjusted a little bit of what they were able to do in the last game, except this time they actually sent more players that could actually eliminate the rest of the squad. Great third party, but even before that, I enjoyed what they did towards the north of Rosshog, Neptura, because they were just controlling everything. They weren't letting anybody get close by.
And what I'm really enjoying from them as well is that they're learning from the group stage. They're not doing too much. They find a compound that they like. They make sure they hold that compound, and then there's no risk of them actually getting taken apart unless there's a full-on crash, right, against them. But so far, they're actually keeping to themselves, keeping together, and saving themselves for that late game.
Yeah, and if I had to nitpick there on this last match for Team Falcons, it would be the execution there towards the end. They did have a great rotation, but when it came down to it, they were just sending one player by one. They sent in Ko up first, hoping that he'll be able to do something, and then they just stopped in an area that you were just going to get grenaded. Max was calling it out too. I got a chance to see it. At that point, just go for a full crash.
Yeah.
I mean, you've left one north, right? I get why they might want to do something like this, not only hunting down those limbs, Neptura, but also negating the problem in Rozhok is the road, because that's such a huge problem for these teams.
Yeah, it is a huge problem, and I really actually like the 1-3 split, as we were saying, right? Because it would allow them to have this pincer move going on. But I think maybe the way the zone was working or something, those 3 players on the south rotated down towards A7. They should have maybe gone onto the other side so they could do a pincer move with Redux on the north. And it just didn't work out that way, so it was a 1v1, 1-by-1.
Well, let's head down to Barney now, as he is ready with Falcons to see what they think after some of these games.
Welcome back to the main stage. I've got Koa from Team Falcons joining me here, and I tell you what, the consistency seems like it's back, Koa, because you've had 3 matches so far. All 3 have been in the top 5, 2 second places as well. What changed from the group stage to now on the survival stage? Because you guys, it feels like you're back.
Yeah, so we had the meetings and we talked about our mistakes and we fixed them.
Simple. Okay, that's simple and effective. You know what, Koa? I want to talk about you individually as a player, because your impact since joining this team has been incredible. You've been MVP in the PMSL season, and now you've come here and you're clutching up in highly intense moments, I would say. How do you feel like you've gelled with the team, and why do you feel like it works so well?
I think it works because the team have some structure, and then my job is only to take the kills.
Your job is to go out there and farm the kills. And what's happening now? So coming into the next 3 matches, are you guys just going to keep the strategies the same? Because it seems like it's working.
Yeah, we're going to keep all the same.
Koa, I like interviewing you, man. You're simple, you're to the point. I love it. Back to you guys.
Well, Barney's right. A very important place for Falcons, of course, to do well here. Live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for PUBG Mobile World Cup. We can take a look at a moment or two here from Falcons as well, because they've really been a focal point here so far, Seven. Kind of understandably in some moments.
I mean, let's even rewind it a little bit more. You got Alpha 7 being able to take control of this area, and I feel like for them, that was able to clutch about so many points. And then you got Yangon trying to send it, but Alpha 7 was ready. Just cars flying everywhere.
Yeah, and of course the teams have to try and come in behind that and try and deal with what on earth is going on over there. But let's talk about some of these other teams, of course, here, Neptura, because Nongshim Red Force, of course, as well in this game. They found themselves in a bit of the nitty-gritty and trying to get them. They've got themselves some points on for sure on the board.
Yeah.
We'll look at the
They're almost there. They're almost where I want them to be, because you saw them come in.
When you went up being alone, go up being my
Gamex?
When you had
they came in, had a really nice third party, really
Very
nice
good.
push onto Gamex, really good. Then they kind of split apart when they're trying to fight against AX Team AG. So for me, they're almost there, but we look over the overall rankings, and actually it's very close still, even though we've had different teams doing different things at different times.
It is, and I mean, look at the 8th place Ringnam Karya. With this matches too, I mean, we're going to have some gaps here and there, but those teams can definitely close it up with just one match. I'm pretty sure we'll end up going there towards the second page. Something that I actually wanted to touch base with Nongshim is I enjoyed that 3-1 split that they were doing earlier on. They did have a player kind of just holding it down with an just making sure that they were scouting everything, which allowed that third party that you were talking about, Neb. I wish they would north. They wouldn't have
Don't worry, you know, that's not how
I did not appreciate the south. They ended up crashing on AXTMG. I felt like that was maybe a losing play. If they would have just gone north, played that edge on the river, that might have been a winning play for that team to clutch up even more points.
We had concerns about RA, I think, as well, Neptura.
Yeah, we did. I really liked how they played the north side, full control of the north side. If the zone had gone their way, they probably would have won. But they didn't, and they actually, instead of playing that same position that you were just doing, they went ahead and crashed the compound, which seemed like just to start the momentum they had built over the course of the game.
They don't get everything
That compound when it's not even point of the circle as well, Seven. Seems a little bit dubious, a little bit
off.
Teams. I feel like that's narrow it down. The winning play for that team would have been going towards the Western Bridge and just holding that down there. But I think maybe the proactiveness of Team Falcons might have scared them off a little bit more. But for them, I mean, if that's what you're gonna go with, it didn't end up working out for them. Maybe they'll be able to fix it up going to the next games.
That said, always difficult in an urban ending like that, of course. The road obviously causes a big problem. You're seeing how reluctant teams are to try and move from building to building, and that was what was really impressive about it.
Yeah,
it was. And again, you not only have the road in the middle, you actually have
compound
at the rest of Rosov as well, so that's very open. I think Regnum Karya had those buildings on the other side, so it was something where they had to cross over, and you can only do that by a full sweep the way Hora did. If you stop at any point, it's game over.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys. Time to head over to the stage once again as the lovely Veracity and Mr. Barney Banks are ready to go as well.
Welcome back to the Gadia Esports Arena, where we are halfway through day one of the survival stage, and tensions are high, and of course, so is the passion. But I'm here to bring you all of the highlights that we've had so far in day one, and of course, day one, we kick things off on Sandhawk. Sandhawk was extremely strong map because two teams that came into a final showdown were Team Falcons and Fireflux Esports. Fireflux took that victory, and of course, some points along with it. 17 in total. Arena managed to secure 9 eliminations.
Are you still up there? Barney, if these players can make it through survival stage, I can too. I've had the best view in the house right now, Barney, and let me tell you right now, match 2 was proof of the fact that the Falcons were able to spend their day off in the most fabulous fashion ever, Barney. Yeah, don't worry about that. I've been snacking away. The Falcons, they've been sharpening their talons, Barney, to say the very least. They soared their way to the very top of our standings. And not only that, they managed to walk away with eliminations left, right, and center. But unfortunately, Fireflux Esports began clipping away at their wings. Our final fight, though, it saw Power Esports taking down the lone survivor representing the Falcons, and that was Koa, marking the 3rd chicken dinner right here at this event for Power Esports.
Going into map number 3, Nongshim Red Force kicked things off extremely strong with 10 eliminations by stage 7 of that particular map. But in the end, it was Hora Esports that managed to clinch that victory and claim that chicken dinner for their own as well. So that's nice. A good amount of points for Hora Esports, Veracity.
You know what, Barney? Enough chit-chat from us. I want to go ahead and dive into match number 4, baby. Let's do this.
Great to see Veracity finally getting down from the high ground. She was up there for a while. Saw the banana peel, a whole bunch of candy. She was vegging out, but what else are you going to do when you're stuck on an island? Speaking of which, we're going into Erangel for map number 4, PMWC. It's been exciting today, truly, and the reason why his teams that didn't necessarily perform well during the group stage are really showing up in the survival stage. We've already witnessed Fireflux, right, get a victory, which was their first winner chicken dinner of the tournament. That includes their group stage performance. Now for Power, well, they sit at a total of 3, granted 1 for today, and then Nora showing up and getting a win in game number 3 and doing it in sensational fashion, which puts the pressure, John, on so many other wonderful teams. Falcons, Alpha 7, right? Those teams looking to make it up to the top.
Absolutely. There is this really interesting dynamic that unfolds, right, when you take the best 8 teams out, well, best, you know, for now,
that's right,
teams out of the lobby. It creates this vacuum, and that pulls in these teams from beneath them. It pushes them towards the top and creates a lot of turbulence. When you start to add those factors all together, it can get a little bit spicy, and that's what we've witnessed so far at the start of today. At the moment, we're looking at half the lobby going through to the finals at the end of these 2 days of the survival stage, and because of that, we're expecting the points boundary to be somewhere around that 70-point mark, and teams are starting to have achieved half of that already, and a lot of the teams towards the top actually already pushing over 30.
That's it. Over 30 is big, especially when you start to go down towards the bottom. We take a look at top 8 currently. 8th place, Regnum Karya, sitting with 16 points around there anyways. They're going to have to definitely step it up. They're on the bubble, at least at the moment. It's still early going.
So today, our top 8
are bottom 8. But if you're Kinnetrop. Intense game influence, rage, and
You've got
to be a little bit worried, but you can't be too much in your head. Again, there's still time, but time will eventually run out. Into game 4, our last airing go. Hop into Miramar. It's going to be exciting. We've seen some great city finishes already as it stands. Now I'm hoping we get a little bit of the military zones.
That Key Crusher is hungry, and we have only one way to feed it. It's crunching through these survival stages, and we will be heading in to Erangel once more. All 64 of our players locked and hopefully loaded into
over
towards Quarry. Plane path fairly chilled out right now. Lovely little dog decal there on the back wing of the plane. He's having a great time. Not so much for our players on the inside, though.
Flying high, flying high. Okay, so plane path looks pretty good, pretty standard. Everybody who wants to go wherever they want to go pretty much has free reign to do so. Georgia obviously going to see quite a bit of activity up there with Alpha 7 and Co. America's region's loving that location. For the rest, though, military, I'm feeling it in my bones. John, I think this next zone is about to be spicy. I'm hoping I'm right, but I hope I just cast a Kirsten.
It's a bones-based feeling here.
I'm feeling it.
And we're going purely off the vibe.
That's it.
That's exactly what we're here for. That's the only way to go.
You said the word.
Purely, yeah, and well, you know, had to fill out that bingo card. Heading on out to the northwest side, I reckon. You know, Zarky circles. That's my bones-based vibes play.
Okay, I wouldn't mind Zarky. I think Zarky's great. Again, a couple of teams that notably love to go out there. Actually, speaking of which, let's talk about it. Alpha 7 typically goes towards Zarky. Georgia Lipovka is where they decide to go this time around. And, well, we don't get either, but we do get right in the middle of what we were predicting. I'm still happy with this, and it's going to benefit quite a few other rosters. For example, E-Arena Kinnetrop going to be feeling quite happy. Power, who's had a standout day, currently sitting in 3rd place, 31 points. And, well, let's not forget also getting that game 2 now set up quite nicely to potentially do just the same in game number 4. They'll be central at the moment. Plenty of time to get together for Yangon Galactica. They are going down towards military to start looting up and also, of course, get their vehicles. Now, for them, though, maybe a potential to go over to the Western Bridge, maybe a scuffle with Kinnetrop, maybe R8, but still early goings, and I'm not seeing any hot drops at the moment.
No, there aren't going to be too many right now. The plane path cutting straight through the middle allows a lot of access to places. I mean, obviously, the Alpha 7 relocation to Lipovka, going to that backup drop, it really just opens things up. If they'd have stuck to their guns and tried to go to North George, there would have been a hot drop on some of those vehicles out the west side. So a reasonable adjustment there. Aura and Influence Rage, probably the closest by to one another right now, up towards Yasnaya. But it looks like they're just sort of keeping each other at arm's distance. They don't want to get too aggy with it, and I think rightly so. You certainly, when you have a numbers advantage, don't want to push too hard, and Influence Rage as well, just looking to keep things calm, especially down in that 12th place. They want to get out of this early drop into those later game rotations.
Falcons also pretty much dead center. They have nobody around them, at least at the moment. They've had a stellar day. We talked about it throughout the group stage. Falcons, bit of an underperformance, right? Needing to step it up in the survival stage where their tournament lives are at risk. It would be weird, I must say, not to see Team Falcons representing in the final stages in that Smash Point competition, but they're doing very, very well. We mentioned 70 being the cutoff. They've already surpassed the halfway point. They still have a little bit more work, but let's face it, Falcons, if they can perform well in these back end of the 3 games of our 6 today, they can absolutely qualify based off of day 1.
The thing that's very encouraging about the Falcons' performance right now that maybe isn't attributed to the other teams that sit around them is that they've done this through consistency, right? They haven't won a game yet. They have just been consistently getting into the top 5, right? And that is a great result for the Falcons to be able to have that spot available to them. The downside of what I've seen from them today is that
okay, lay down with you.
Mechanical execution.
Okay.
Specifically, I think has had a couple of missteps, and I think Narvalo as well, obviously going down a lot earlier in the games than they would have liked to. You can attribute that to getting a little bit too bold on the scouting, maybe less of a mechanical issue, but I do think there are still a few wobbles here and there, and hopefully they can keep themselves nice and steady, because it's working right now. The question is, will it work if they bring back those
That's a question, right? And that's a question they're going to have to ask themselves when they do head into the finals. Obviously, the task at hand now is just top 8. And, well, speaking of one of those teams who's close to the bubble is Alpha 7 on your screen. A team that obviously is coming in with squash this time around. But regardless, the returning champions, the heroes of the Americas region who play so incredibly well. I would be, again, just like the Falcons narrative, it would be so weird not to see Alpha 7 representing themselves during the Smash Points group or finals just coming up next week. But for Alpha 7, they're still relatively healthy. I do feel like they have gotten punished at multiple moments, but for now, I'm not too worried about them. I think they're going to be just fine. Teams from the Americas region start to get a bit worried. I don't think they are performing well. During the group play, specifically their performance during day 1 group play for them, I felt they were coming in hot. I thought they looked great, but survival stage, nothing like their group play performance.
No, I mean, it does really change the dynamic, as I mentioned before, right? When you are taking those top 8 teams, in every single match, no matter which groups we're in, you're expecting there to be about 5, maybe 6 of those teams in the top 8 to be playing in the lobby, and removing those teams has really changed the dynamics here, and teams have taken advantage of that. And like you were highlighting there, some teams have had to eat mud on the flip side, right? Because you have to, for a team to do better, another team has to do worse, right? Swings around the bounce.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Well, I will say Team Vision also another roster that surprised me being so far down. You go back to group play and they were performing incredibly well, having plenty of highlight moments. Were they in the top echelon? No, but Vision still a team that is struggling. Ragnum Karya now in a fight against AXTMG and Silas, a guy who, again, is trying to create history for himself. He's already has a large history of performances and great moments throughout PUBG Mobile history. This tournament would complete the trifecta he's currently trying to get, so that's a big opening elimination for him and for AXTMG.
Looking weak this tournament in a way that couldn't be said, I think, for Alpha 7 or Falcon. Sure, they haven't really been in these positions to really take too much. They earned a couple of points on a few of the days, but obviously they're here in the survival stages, and I'm hoping that they can stand up, like you said, with Silas having that PMGO victory, having that PMGC victory under the belt, adding that third, would be the first player in history to do so, but at the moment they need to piece it back together, especially coming off of a weak season back in Europe, right? These guys only qualified because they had that extra qualification spot from winning PMGO at the start of the year. So the fact that they're only here because of that earlier performance, it does add questions to this roster. And right now they're on 8th place. So they would, if things close down now, be going through. And I think I would be disappointed not to see them go through, but they do still have a long way to go. And when they're put back in the fold with the 8 teams already qualified, the same those questions that just don't have an answer right now.
Alpha 7 in ruins currently.
Military ဘက်ကျင်းတာတို့ Novo ဘက်ကျင်းတာတို့ဆိုရင်တော့ share ပဲဗျာနော် အဲ့လိုမဖြစ်ဘူးဖြစ်
But getting quite contested towards the middle as we would expect. Ragnum Karya being one of them. Dead center. Power as well. Haven't really done too much, but you wouldn't expect them to. They're centered. They're happy where they're currently at. For Kinotrope, well, they've got people all around them. But again, same situation. Nobody really to fight at the moment. Potentially Noxious Red Force a little bit later, who, mind you, I've been very, very impressed with. Had a chance to speak with Ben. He wants to be the best. Prove it. Well, here we go. Going south now. It does shift just a bit, which could benefit Yangon Galacticos, who could potentially stay over on the military side if they don't want to fully commit for the bridge rotate. But it also Red Force, that's one of the things you have to consider.
A lot of teams now looking to make their move. A hard south shift forces teams to rotate at the same time. I'm seeing Fireflux moving into the hills to the south of Pachinki there. Nongshan Red Force actually regrouping to the compound that sits over that long hillside that borders the south edge of this circle where R8 currently take up occupation. Fireflux actually rotating away. Looks like they're going to try and push into the east side of that. And all of these teams from the north going to try and move on top of each other. It is intense game. It is Alpha 7 moving in this area. You've got Power as well, who are a little bit ahead of the curve. And Influence Rage actually the three-peat of the Americas teams. And when you only have one good team in the region, well, you know who you want to see get out of it.
Yeah, this is going to be weird because, like you said, you got all three Americas region teams, ironically, just right next to each other. You would, I guess, expect that with similar play styles, kind of similar mindsets, obviously from the same region, but it seems like they kind of do this invisible handshake. You go on your way, I'll go on my way, they'll go on their way, and we'll avoid each other for the time being. But as deeper as influence rate starts to go, closer and closer, they start to get the power.
Fireflux did actually turn around. They're now still in those hills, but it's Yangon Galacticos who have now crossed the bridge as well on the south side of the circle, who are poking their noses in. You've also got E-Arena, who have sent a scout down south towards Ocean Red Force, towards R8, but now Alpha 7 have actually cut off that retreat. On the north side, Influence Rage now clashing, trying to take position, and First Blood for Lorazit.
Influence Rage, great shot. Sleepy from a distance, though, takes Little Boy all the way down to just a sliver of health. He's most likely going to be finished off relatively soon. I don't foresee him getting picked back up. Of course, the med kit pops, but still, Influence Rage got to fight hard.
Hang on,
Throughout the survival stage so far across the first 3 maps, they need to hold their ground. Not to mention, Power also starting to come in for a bit of a third party, and No Fear is gone.
A nice little flex out there from Al-Haji. Puts the stone in, gets the result he's looking for, adds a point to the tally. Pleased to see you. Plower now actually going to put more pressure on. They're moving down, and Influence Rage playing with 4. They're locked into the building. They're surrounded by E-Arena and by Power now, who have pushed easy, actually very, very close to this situation.
Into
that, they will pull him back, fold him back into the rest of the team.
E-Arena being on the outskirts scares me, however, for Influence Rage. Such a talented roster. They have really proven themselves throughout not only their second day of group play, having some high placings. Zone will shift once again. Alpha 7 very, very safe where they currently are. Influence Rate, same story. E-Arena Power around them. Intense game, though, might alleviate some of that pressure. They start the push in. Power encompassing their location. We get on board with the fight going down. IG versus Power. It will be, I believe, will it be a 3v4, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, currently that's how it sits. Power were a little bit split, but it looks like they're regrouping. They do have that off angle. Towards Easy from Silence, and he's quietening him down pretty nicely there. Al-Haji holding the flank still against Influence Rage, but maybe he needs to worry about the inside, but handles business from Fidan. On the outskirts there, looking to try and keep his team in this fight. Silas has the challenge down the alleyway, but both of them back off the angle.
Here we go, Power pushing up. Petrino cooking a nade. Al-Haji wants to take him out before it can get thrown, but now he has to reposition himself. IG running on fumes, and Al-Haji looking to put him into the grave earlier than they wanted, and that's exactly what will happen. IG struggles will continue.
Power have been stepping up today. A little bit lackluster, well, more than a little bit lackluster in the group stages earlier on in last week's games, but today it looks like Power are here to play. They added on some cheeky chicken dinners. It is a return to form for them.
Just about to point out Ralph, he was separated from his roster. Falcons have been leaving players, stragglers, to be the scouts for the rest of the trio, whoever's out. First it was Redux in the last game, we were talking about him, and now this time it's Ralph, who's, well, potentially in no man's land. I say that, but here comes the rest of the roster trying to pick him back up. Getting Ralph back into the fight, being a 4-man unit, is definitely going to be the way they want to go. It's a question now of vision and how hard they want to push this engagement.
The forward duo for Falcons have a position in this next circle. Koa and Narvalo looking to try and stanchion them down. Try and keep things under control here. Koa puts pressure. The res was sent over towards Ralph. He's up there in a vehicle now, and they could rotate away. Vision actually not opting to crash onto that position. Instead, trying to get ahead of the rotation and split Falcons off from their forward duo.
Now it's a question of Power, and do they want to continue to push the issue? And I guess not at the moment. Vision unintentional, though. Even though they do go up top, they still manage to pass by Falcons, and they are in hot pursuit. Ralph The early knock that they got a little bit earlier, now trying to get the finish. Influence Rage also in the area, and they're going full send. AXTMG also off in the line of sight.
Right by in live yet, huh?
A bit chaotic in the open field, and as they are pretty much dead center of the zone, everybody's going to be collapsing in.
Oh, no, I need it.
Regis, you got Silas also up there. Vision Bolt is pushing in, trying to take everybody on, and he's going to fall a bit flat.
Vision mad rotate through everybody in the circle into the middle of an open field. It was a death ball that they just sent in, hoping to all hell that they'd make it, and they just really didn't. It was honestly a pretty terrible position there for Vision to take.
100%.
I think that is probably coming off of from the Falcons what was potentially one of the most exciting, fresh, new, dynamic rotations in the tournament so far into what I think I would categorize as the worst rotation I've seen this tournament.
Fully agree, and especially because you get a fresh knock on the Falcons and you don't even fully commit for the finish. You have the man advantage in that moment, and then you decide to pull away, allow Falcons to get the res, and then in the middle of 5 teams.
Well,
clearly, they are struggling today as they just sit at the very bottom with only 2 points. Hopefully, they'll start to get it together. A lot of teams on the north, stragglers, trying to come on in. Kinetro, Power, you also have Influence Rage as well. It's going to be pretty tight up towards the northern side of the zone. The first team to get in might be able to play Gatekeeper, but for the time being, everybody's got a lot of space to work with, but that's the thing. There's just a lot of space out in the open, vast area, which is the zone.
Yeah, that hillside to the south edge, that tree-covered hill ridge that currently R8 sits on, that Fireflux is sitting on as well. It can contain maybe one more team, but it's going to start to get squashed. Alpha 7 going to be looking to do just that. Meanwhile, on the northwest side, Influence Rage, they're trying to move, but so are Power. And Power are on form today. With 5 elims already, they found Lorazin. AXTMG going to look for that flush as well. And the third party's coming through from Falcons, who have managed to all get to the same shack out in the open field.
That's it, same shack, so they're going to be all together. They can focus fire, but they are being gate kept just a little bit by Noxium Red Force way off in the distance. So Power need to, or should be Power's perspective, though, the reason why they were so successful in that little scuffle they had with Influence Rage has spread themselves apart with the 2-2 split. Power are moving together as one unit. They are wolf packing, making it very difficult for any stragglers or any split ups, like for example Influence Rage, maybe even Kinetrup for a moment, to fight against this 4-man unit of Power. And I think I owe their success to, again, them being on the same page, sticking together. It's hard to take on a full force unit, but teams now start to settle down a little bit. Kinetrup is going to go ahead and take over the west, or should be eastern side zone. Power will start to move in. AXTMG still running on fumes, but Henry may be looking to make a solo play against Power once they rotate in. We'll see what he can do.
Has got a forward position to assist with him in Cyrax, but they are very, very split, and in the open field, it is going to be a difficult crossing. Power moving past Fidan, actually moving close towards that forward position, maybe actually over into Influence Rage. Fidan circling here. Easy's going to roll straight on up. Al-Haji sending in a barrel. The lane towards Influence Rage, and Easy goes in first. Does manage to get traded off, but they lose one of their players. Now, can they handle Lil Boy on the inside? Al-Haji take it down, and Influence Rage maybe trying to stop Power dead in their tracks. Fidan on the outside here with the AUG hasn't managed to find it, and Lil Boy goes for the res.
Lil Boy's going for the res. Lil Boy now out. He knows he has to leave this. There's too much utility to use. And the juke, the bait and switch to take down the remainder to stay alive. The Falcons are now starting to move in, and I fear this might be the ending of Lil Boy. But the med kit is popped. He's back up, but the nades are rolling in, and Falcons are starting to close the vice grip. But Lil Boy stands on his own 2 feet for a little bit longer to get one more final knock.
Ralph needs to get rezzed here on the inside. They've got a couple of vehicles to play with, but this is not going to be enough of a position. A massive flex back out from the Falcons. They are getting spicy with it. Alpha 7 in the meantime marauding around and sweeping through the western side. They might try and push in and capitalize on this chaos.
Squash
ready
for this, however, Alpha 7 starts to crumble. Gets to clean up on Revo, and well, the rest of the Alpha 7 roster now in shambles. Only one remaining. It's Mafioso. He chose to stay back just a little bit, and well, he's going to have to go at it alone as a solo. Right going for placement points, maybe potentially trying to get the remaining cleanups. I mean, after all, E-Arena does have 2 down players.
Falcons got really keen to push up towards that north side, but it means that they've got 3 players in position to potentially pick up these points towards E-Arena. You can see these nades are starting to ring on out, and it's actually from R8 who are able to close down Alpha 7 here. But E-Arena suffering as they try and go for that cross, that northern flex out. The Falcons were all held down towards that number 3 on the minimap there on Narvalo, but now with that flex out, they have those off angles. They now need to rotate back on in. You can see the vehicles they got available to them. This crossing.
FA လို့လည်းမဟုတ်ဘူးအကုန်လုံးကဇုံတိုင်းလုံးနေကြရဘယ်လိုကောတဲ့
Might be able to put additional pressure.
FA လို့တော့မဟုတ်ပါဘူး
Noxious Red Force still dead center, by the way. They're going to play a big impact as we get later and later into the stages. R8, a team that, just like others, have been struggling quite a bit. Opposite of another team that is relatively low in the standing. Shanghai Galactica, Saycloud Smile just up ahead. More men in from E-Arena. I would be very, very can even pick up one, but with this off angle on R8, I don't know. I'm thinking he can at least start to hurt R8 a little bit, which could open up the door for Young Galacticas to potentially get a clean win here.
That's what they'll be looking for here. Gamax trying to push in on the southeast side in the meantime as Fireflux try and hold their own. So far, looks to be in the favor of Fireflux, but Rectum Kai are chiming in across the way from the north side.
No, but that's a good.
Gamax playing
Nick.
It may not be.
ထားလို့တော့မရဘူးဟမ်အောက်ကောင်လေးဝိုင်းပေးချက်ကိုလေးလိုက်ထားလို့တော့မရ
Slow them down. Talking about those holds out to the west side towards Yangon Galacticos, it really does entrench them in this position a little bit longer.
Fireflux staying alive a little bit longer. Start to push up towards Yangon Galactica. Strax is, well, in the thick of it. Smoke out, nades starting to move in. Falcons keeping the pressure up. Just such a sensational day from Team Falcons. Just on the edge of taking over first place. AXTMG are now gone. And Falcons have been hugely aggressive. And man, from one team to another, they now push up onto Kinotrup. The question is, do they know they're sitting in the weeds?
They have managed to spot that first knock, right? So they know that there is a team.
ကဲဝိုင်းဇုံလေးနည်းနည်းတိုးရတော့မယ်
The northern side with a hard north shift, it would be a very
နည်းခက်ခဲနေတယ်ဇုံတွေကတိုးရ
Falcons overcommitting here would expose them to Nongshim Red Force, who have been in this compound since the start of phase 2, almost phase 1 in fact. They have been chilling here in big ways, right? One Elim, very quiet, difficult to leave if they had to rotate away, but they have control over so much of this open ground now.
Without a doubt, and not to mention playing gatekeeper to Fireflux, playing gatekeeper to Yangon Galacticus, who's going to have to move into them potentially. So I expect them to be at 5 eliminations relatively soon if they can do everything right. They're already in a very healthy spot, just 4 points away from taking over first place. R8 has been tempting this fight opposite of Falcons for quite some time. They managed to stay up. They, of course, only have 3 members, but you can do a lot of damage with 3. But you mentioned Noxium Red Force playing the gatekeepers, and well, Damar's going straight into him.
Just going straight on through, trying to see if he can keep an edge, and it looks like they're going to let him play on this wall for now, but the Falcons might have something to say about that. Damar may be exposed. The rest of R8 actually going to continue that push. He knows he's getting unchallenged, so they've got that western building under control. An interesting decision not to hold them out. They're going to give the western side.
ဇုံကတိုးရမယ်ရှေ့မှာလည်းပိတ်တာနဲ့ဘာနဲ့ဘယ်လိုသွားကြမလဲချက်ကြည့်မယ်ဗျာ
Play, especially if you get blessed by the next zone, which could very well happen. Now, you do have to consider another fight, obviously, right before your eyes. Fireflux as well as Yangon Galactica says they might cannibalize each other. As soon as that happens, now they move into Noxious Red Force in the R8 fight. So it's going to be one fight to another, and now you have to prioritize which one is more important for you to take the third party or go head-to-head. For Fireflux, they can, in fact, wrap around the eastern side and maybe take over where the crate is currently at. So decide to push. Right now, they're just... I think Yangon Galacticus need to take advantage of that. For me, I'm wrapping around. I don't want to full send it. I don't want this third party, but maybe they do.
I mean, it's already smoking. It's really dangerous to be heading on in like that. But Yangon Galacticos full crash onto the northern point, and Nongshim Red Force look to hold. Meat grind through the window, but Yangon somehow avoids spinning blades. Red Force force will send out towards them.
Con này quá.
Hunting them down, and that's 3
Ngon quá trời rồi.
already falling. Romeo the only casualty. All right, looking at third party, but not really finding too much. It's over almost before it started. And Fireflux are now in on the east side.
But Doc also hits a great shot onto Solus from Fireflux through the window, and now he can capitalize with the nade. You have, of course, Marth and R8 on the outskirts. Nades galore starting to come through. Doc still standing up with the full challenge on the outskirts. Madcap, though, great shots with the DBS will push Doc back.
Forces it back into the inside of the building. Yangon Galacticos and R8 are dealing with each other right now.
Đồng lý là một sốဖြစ်rồi.
One on this corner of the compound.
Trái không sao để ra làm nhà hậu để cắn là dài nào lấy mà về cùng luôn thế này.
Yangon Galacticos successful.
Đi đồng lý từ lý là cắn là dài nào lấy ra mà về.
Challenging them now on the angle, playing with 3 as well. Marth retreats back up to the warehouse, and the Falcons have been marching ever closer as time goes on. But finally, Narvalo has a knock sent his way, and they'll have to slow it down just for a beat.
Massive fan of R8 disengaging.
That's
going to give them a great foothold within this chaotic compound area. Meanwhile, for Kinatrope, they are in dire straits. You already got one player very weak and down. You've got 2 more who's also relatively weak. You've got, of course, got a team pushing up onto your location. Nowhere to hide, nowhere to go. The only thing you can do is hit the door. For Regnum Karya, you mentioned them underperforming. Well, look at them now. Top 8, also all 4 players alive and pushing the issue on the remaining players at Kinatrope.
Silas lands an aid right on their heads there. Now with 1 player left standing, they are going to try and take down Kinatrope entirely. Ooh, nearly getting that full knock, but Silas has to disengage.
Try me to live.
Going to have to fall back to the rest of his team. Only 1 nade left, and you want to be saving that for a little bit later, especially in these open fields. They are so valuable.
Without a doubt, but they also have a drop, so that's going to be big for them as well. Falcons still on the outskirts. R8 starting to tease them a bit with a couple of shots. It's going to be tough to take down R8. Obviously, Falcons keep them at bay. You still got Yangon Galacticus, who's going to be just behind you. And for Fireflux, Madcap, I believe, is down and out, and that will be the end.
Still a great game. Okay ဖြစ်သွားပြီဒီမှာပြစ်နိုင်ဖို့ပဲလိုတော့တာကျွန်တော်လောတဲ့ rank fight တွေကတော့ win နေပြီ
Now, for Nogsham Red Force, 1 player remains. That's going to be Doc.
No, yeah,
alive on the 2nd floor building of where he currently is. Now, for Falcons, are they potentially making a push? Are they making a rotation? Well, no, they've got to park the bus because R8
They try and get up towards the hay bale, but the cover is in there. Damar has been tearing them to pieces. Chunks of Falcon flying left and right as he's blasting them away here. And it's just unfriendly atmospheres out on the northwestern side. There's more to do. Marth's going to have a go. Have a crack, and now it's just the 1 player. No, it's the no players as Falcons fall flat on their rotate up towards the north.
Which is so disappointing. Falcons were on fire. The way they were pushing teams was excellent, and they didn't want to fully commit for this compound play. They wanted to skirt the edge, but there's just no coverage on the outskirts, right? And unfortunately, a little bit too overexposed. But on R8 to take advantage of that moment. Now, all eyes on Regnum Karya, who have space smoke so in the moment. Now, it's just a mad dash forward.
R8,
Yangon Galacticus Doc from Nogsham Red Force is going to be looking straight at him.
Immediately covering this field in smoke. Stage 8 circle closes dead center, and that will put us on the north side of this compound. None of these teams currently have position there, so if Regnum Karya can get up to the wall successfully, they're going to have a great shot here, but they're going for the wraparound. Damar on the wall, looks to try and hold his nerve, but he's already taken down in a second as well. Lost on the sidelines here for R8, and they will be torn apart. Regnum Karya with a clean roll-up and give themselves a chance for 12 elims and more into this circle. 4 elims remain, could be a 26-point game.
Absolute insanity. Regnum Karya looking so incredibly strong, down to our Nogsham Red Force to Solo, who has stayed alive as he possibly can. Spoiler to the chances of Regnum Karya, potentially Yangon Galacticos 4 and 3, both respectively alive for those very rosters. Doc, though, give him credit, man. Staying alive is just massive in this moment. The question is, who wants to make the first move?
With the
way that Regnum Karya just pushed into R8, I've got to favor him.
I Thinking about Regnum Kaya and their position and thinking perhaps they want to try and take the wall side of this compound. You could potentially be there. It's fairly nadeable, which makes it a little bit dangerous depending on what sort of utility Yangon Galacticos are going to be working with. But having that angle that controls the open courtyard to the north side of this Yangon Galacticos building would be absolutely huge. But for now, Regnum Kaya going to allow themselves a little bit of time, a little bit of breathing room, get those healing ticks back up from those stims. They also don't know where this last solo player is, which means that they're probably wary as to where that off angle could be.
I like where Wild is currently at. He's going to be protecting the backside, allowing his teammates just focus
Don't
on
know,
what's
yeah.
in front of
Don't
them.
let Jimmy,
Do
yeah.
not want to get flanked, and there is a potential, right? Yangon Galacticos can send a player
YG.
down to where Wild is currently at. That would basically spell the ending of this fight. I do have to question how annoying Doc is going to be in this moment, though. I think Doc is a solo. I really think he's going to affect the fight once Yangon Galacticos as Regnum Karya start to collapse into each other. Silas is starting to make a move, and he is taking that advanced position, which is great, but Doc knows this, and Doc is going to be opposite of him. Yangon Galacticos moving in. Cloud and Doc potentially about to square off.
Silas opening the building. I don't think you want to step in there just yet. Doc now getting pressure put on him. Yangon Galacticos know he's there, know that this fight happened earlier, and they will take care of him. So no more annoyances from the side, but Yangon Galacticos have invested time, and the question is, what have Regnum Karya done with it? They've moved out to the north side, up and to that wall position.
Oh,
Nade over towards Silas, drops short from Smile.
Oh, the relay pin now, so the
Pocket Loxy with a long lob, doesn't
oh,
connect, and another one set
gone
over
at the next segla.
3 versus 3, and Wild falls next.
Okay, now look at no, I mean, yeah.
Three, as you said, Cloud smiled, nades.
Oh, man. Man, Nick, what did you do? Nice.
Yangon Galacticos managed to make it.
YG.
Take the win. Regnum Karya, a heroic effort, a wonderful game, but at the end, that was the ending, man. Well done, dude. I think today the games we have had have been phenomenal. Regnum Karya. Excuse me, Yangon Galacticos, the champions with 9 elims, huge.
Sao, you know? Why you sao, you know?
In the end.
Gone, eh? Muddy Lunia.
The Doc held in the end. Okay, a little bit more aura farming coming through from Yangon Galacticos, hitting them with the boat dance. But you know what? In the end, it felt like Regnum Karya maybe gave a little bit too much leeway to Yangon Galacticos. They played towards the back of the compound for a long time, right? They could have potentially taken control, gone a little bit further forwards. The circle closed a little bit further south than I thought it would, so it could have been a little bit more of a decision maker there. But
Sorry, now. Chicken, hello. Lunia, load in there.
That compound. They could have done more. 12 elims in a second place, however. Yeah, that's going to put you up on, what, 18 points on the match, and that's a great result.
Yeah, without a doubt, especially since we talked about their struggles. So, a game like this, very much needed. Puts them closer to that potential theoretical 70-point threshold. Regnum Karya.
Bro. Found it, wow, nade. Where she why? Okay. We are on the way down. No, brother, we are on the way down there. Miraman the way down there. So. Oh, yeah, like my Koji near. Bro. Who go to leather? You know, deep having on. So, the old hey, I'm in your mother, my chicken name, I pay out. You're all so no. People, the bell wine about they view them. Liga de la and still 9 later. Go on, the wine, no? And that's still 9 later. And it's how you find one, no? And that's not better. Find one.
Mars retreats back up to the warehouse, and the Falcons have been.
Mars going straight into him.
Just going straight on through. Trying to.
Oh, you check with Magan Walla, yeah. You know, we said you check with Magan Walla.
Decision for Nongshan Red Force not to
hold
them out.
And that's it, she went right.
Western side of the compound to
you train it, yeah. You train it on people who did that. Damn it. 3v4 out, yeah. The man, and I don't know why I say, man. I always don't say them and they train like. As you are now on the IG account, if you have another bit of you. Lady gone, a single name and subway be later gone. ကောင်းလေအဲ့ဘက်တဲ့ဒီမှာဒီကစပြီးတော့ decision မှန်သွားလို့သိလားကောင်းလေရွေးချက်စရာအများကြီးရှိသေးတယ်ဗျအောက်ဆင်းပြီးတော့ပဲသွားအောက်ကကောင်မလူရှင်ချမယ်ဆိုပြီးတော့အဲ့ရွေးချက်လိုက်တယ်အဲ့ကောင်းတယ်ကျန်တဲ့နေရာရွေးလို့ရှိရင်လည်းဘာညာ open ဘာညာနဲ့ရှုပ်ဘယ်တင်းတက်မှာလဲဆိုတော့ bro ကျွမ်းကြီးဥစ္စာတက်မှာကျွန်တော်8တင်းတက်မှာဒီဘယ်လေးကစပြီးမှန်သွားတာမိုက်တယ်ဖိုင်းသွားတယ်အဲ့လို chicken အမှတ်တွေလိုနေတာအမှစဖွင့်ပေးလိုက်တယ် NS ကိုNS ကကောင်းနေရနော်နေကိုပရီရီကင်ထားတွေ့လားကားတန်ကြားရတဲ့နေတွေပရီရီဆွဲထားတွေ့လားအော်ကောင်းတယ်စမိုင်းလုတ်ပေးလိုက်တာအမစမိုင်းလုတ်ပေးလိုက်တာအမသုံးအောင်လုံးဟမ်
Romeo the only casualty. All right, looking at third party, but not really finding too much. It's over.
အဲ့ဘက်တွေကစပြီးတော့ find သွားတာပဲ
Flux are now in on the east side.
But Doc also hits a great.
အားလေးကိုဝင်ဖို့တော့ဟုတ်တယ်ဟုတ်ရွေးအားကလုံးလေးရွေးချက်ကြဂိုးတောင်နဲ့အဲ့အိမ်နဲ့ရှိတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့အိမ်ကိုရွေးတာပုံမှန်သွားဂိုးတောင်ရွေးအိမ်ကအောင်နဲ့ထက်ညော်အောင်ပါသိလားအိမ်ဘက်ကိုရွေးတော့ဂိုးတောင်အောင်နဲ့ထပ်မပြည့်ရဘူးညာသိလားဂိုးတောင်ကဘေးရှင်ဘလော့တယ်သိလားအဲ့ဒီပြည့်ရှင်တယ်ဆိုလာပြစ်မှရအောင်အဲ့ဘက်တွေ find သွားနိုင်ငံရဲ့ရွေးချယ်မှုတွေရနေပြတာကျွန်တော် chicken ပေါ့ဗျာကိုလာကြည့်ရတဲ့ chicken တော့တရတဲ့မဟုတ်ဘူး bro သွင်းကြီးကျွန်တော်3ရက်ပဲထင်တယ်အဲ့တော့ survivor စိတ်က2ရက်လား3ရက်လားကျွန်တော်ကြည့်လိုက်အောင်
Playing with 3 as well. Marth retreats back up to the warehouse, and the Falcons have been marching ever closer as time goes on. But finally, Narvalo.
ကျွန်တော် survivor စိတ်လေးကိုချက် show လိုက်မယ်ရှစ်တင်တက်တာရှစ်တင်မတက်မှာ
Massive fan of R8 disengaging, going to the shed. That's going to give them a great foothold within this chaotic compound area. Meanwhile, for Kinatrope, they are in dire straits. You already got one player very weak and down. You've got two more who's also relatively weak.
ရှစ်တင်တက်မယ် survivor စိတ်က
team pushing up onto your
2ရက်ပဲ
nowhere to hide, nowhere to go. The
only 2ရက်ပဲဆိုရမှာ survivor စိတ်က2ရက်ပဲဆိုရအောင်29 30
underperforming. Well, look at them now. Top
ဂိမ်းတွဲအထိပဲကျွန်တော်
all four players alive and pushing the
ရှစ်တင်တက်မယ်ဗျာ
remaining players at Kinatrope.
လောတာကျွန်တော် chicken ပွိုက်နေပါလိုတယ်
They are going to try and take down Kinatrope in time.
လိုတယ်
Ooh, nearly getting
make any headway.
Try and take the wall side.
ဒီကောင်ပွေးအောင်ပါနော်ဒီကောင်မပွေးကကန်ကောင်းတယ်
Fairly nadable, which makes it a little bit dangerous depending on what sort of utility Yangon Galacticos are going to be working with. But
actually about to square off.
Silas,
I
don't think you want
မငယ်သူ NS ကတကောင်နေနဲ့ထပ်ဖြတ်ပေးလိုက်ဘာနဲ့ဖြတ်လဲ NS ကတကောင်နေပဲအော် shotgun နဲ့ပဲ smile shotgun နဲ့အသေးလုံးနေတာအမစေးကလောက်နေနဲ့တေသွားတာ NS ကတောင်းစီရအမှန်ဒီပဲလေးကတော့ fine တယ်တော်တော်လေးနောက်ပြန်တော့ MN နဲ့ကတိုက်ပြီဟုတ်တယ် MN နဲ့တိုက်ပြီမဲ့လေဗျာမြန်မာစင်းအကုန်လုံးအားပေးရမြန်မာပွဲပဲကြည့်ပေါ့ bro ရဲ့ MN ကိုမြန်မာပွဲပဲအားပေးပေါ့ဟုတ်တယ်မလားMN လည်းပွဲတိုင်းMN ကိုမြန်မာပွဲပဲအားပေးပေါ့အမှကွာဒီတော့နှစ်ကောင်လောက်တော့သွားအဲ့မှာဟိုကောင်တွေကနည်းနည်းပြသွားပြီမာနက်ကနည်းနည်းလှုပ်လို့ရသွားပြီကိုစင်ရွှေ့ပါရင်အဲ့မှာအဲ့နှိတ်ကမာနက်တော့သွားနည်းနည်းတိုင်ပတ်မှာဟိုကောင်ပြစ်လိုက်တဲ့နှိတ်ကဒီနားလေးမှာလေကန့်သွားပိုင်းသွားတယ်အဲ့မှာ nice တကယ်ကောင်းတယ် niceတော်တော်လာတော့အဆင်ပြေမယ်ထင်တယ်ဆိုတော့နှစ်ဖြန်ကတော့ဥစားပဲကြည့်ပေါ့ bro မိုင်းစီတဲ့ပွဲပဲကြည့်ပေါ့ mobile လေးကြည့်အောင်ဒီဘက်ဝိုင်းကြီးပွဲဆက်ကြည့်ပေါ့ဟိုကျွန်တော်မိုင်းစီပွဲပြီးသွားလို့ရှင်ဟုတ်တယ်မလား
PMWC at the EWC of course
ရှစ်တင်းပါမရမှာရှစ်တင်းနဲ့ပါမကျွန်တော် final ကြည့်ရမှာအဲ့မှာကျွန်တော်မြန်မာအသင်းကိုဆက်ပြီး final မှာအားပေးလို့ရမှာ
It's absolutely intergalactic coming in from Yangon.
Maybe back at night, yeah, sure, man.
Space for that one for a second, yeah, very nicely done. No, but I think they're very good. I know that's lame. Stop it! Don't laugh at me. What I'm trying to say.
Come on,
no, they're all very good.
10 out of 10
but
analysis.
Are they all very good with those nades? Because Regnum were looking very good to actually just overtake and just storm through that compound. And Yangon, I don't think so. We have nades and we have a lot of them. We don't even need our weapons.
It sounds like you right now. Accent. What's going on? Actually, the more I've talked to her over this, she's talking about.
Look, James.
I'm like, stop it! Stop making fun of me.
School mat. Fine white. School mat to fine white. When I go with the yellow, you're not such a matter of yabi. When I ran away, I'm going to my 33 mat, she did ဆိုဒါအမှတ်တွေကတော့ဒါ၄ဝဲပြီးသွားတဲ့အချိန်မှာကျွန်တော်တိတ်တော့မပြတ်သေးဘူးနော်ဝိုင်းရင်နဲ့ top 8ကိုလည်းပြန်ပြီးသွားလို့ရှိရင် AC လေးသွားလို့ရတဲ့အနေအထားမှာရှိတယ်အခုလာမယ့်မြန်မာနှစ်ပွဲမှာတပွဲကိုအနည်းဆုံးကျွန်တော်9မှတ်10မှတ်ပေါ့နော်ဝင်းကြီးလေးရှာသွားရင်မဆိုးဘူးဒါမနေ့ပြန်အတွက် point လေးတွေပါပြီးသားဖြစ်တယ်9မှတ်10မှတ်လောက်တော့လို့ဘာဘကိုသားဆိုရန်ကုန်သင်းတော့မကြိုက်ဘူးမဲရန်ကုန်သင်းမဟုတ်ဘူးဒါမြန်မာအသင်းတော့ပြိုင်နေရန်ကုန်ဆိုပြီးတော့ပြိုင်တာမလို့အသင်းနာမည်ပဲရန်ကုန် Gladigos ဖြစ်နေတာမြန်မာကိုသားနဲ့ပြိုင်တာဘာတော့
telling any team where they're going at any one time. They were like, we're not going to hint at anything. You have no idea where we're going next. And it was
definitely knows all these teams are getting ready to get into Miramar now as well, but we've got more to talk about, of course. Technically, but it's a case of do you have it too early? Because for me, Seven, it felt like the rest of the lobby knew exactly how to dismantle them.
Let's break it down. Let's break it down. No, the thing is, I agree with you, but I feel like that team just fell asleep in a way because they got an R8 being able to be the first team that pushed them, right? And then they kind of gave away that warehouse. After that, the team was just super passive. They created pretty much a nice little 2-2 between those teams. Yeah. Okay, you stay over there, we stay over here, and they just weren't ready for any type of push. And that's when Yangon Galacticos just took full care of it. Like you need to see that proactiveness. And I was actually hoping that Regnum Karya was gonna end up winning this match because they were being so
just a little bit further back into the mid game, right? Yangon making that initial push. I have so much to say about that because Nongshim really fumbled there, right? You had R8 with that one solo, Damar coming into the compound. Nobody was touching that compound. Actually, I'm going to test the waters a little bit. And Biddy's like, oh, my bad. Sorry. Didn't know you were there. It's cool. And he immediately backs off. So R8 see that go, oh, well, they're not really all that scary. They push in, Yangon go, oh, they've given them all that space. Well, we might as well sandwich them while we're at it. And Nongshim actually told the entire lobby, all the teams around them, that actually we're in a weak position, we're a weak team, we're not going to defend this, so you can walk all over us. And it's just in that tiny little thing of being just really like there wasn't this strong push down immediately from the game, I think, because it's just nobody would have touched them after that.
Let's take a look at head-to-head here then, brought to you by the Saudi National Bank as Team Falcons in number 1 and Yangon Galacticos. A very important win for them, will move them up into 8th place here. 7 was able to wrestle away the compound from everybody else and go
what, how did they go?
Yeah.
But it's an impressive play. I want to see Falcons continue doing what they've been doing because in that last game it felt like they were maybe going to go for the winning play. It felt like they were maybe going to be the team that was actually going to end up doing what Regnum Karya ended up doing. That wasn't the case, and you know what? Let's talk about this overall before I continue on, because Team Falcons with those 42 points and somewhat of a healthy gap there to 8th place.
Somewhat of a healthy gap, yes. A very important start to the day for Team Falcons. Fireflux obviously really yielding great results. There is one name here slightly omitted from our top 8 that really springs to mind, that really isn't that really should be in our top 8. Alpha 7 Neptura still not here. I will say, from my perspective, correct me if I'm wrong. Still look on edge players and not really being able to.
Even in group stages too.
Rancy 9တော့တက်နိုင်မှာ Rancy 9တက်တယ်ဆိုတာလေ bro ဇင်းကြီး K-point fan မှုလို့တာမ Rancy လာဘာမှအပွင့်ရမှာမဟုတ်ဘူးဒီလားဒီကအမှတ်ကိုဗျာအဲ့ပါတပွဲကို10မှတ်လောက်ရှာမယ်ဆိုအဲ့10မှတ်ဝင်းကျင်ကိုထား Ran ရော K-point နှစ်ခုလုံးပေါင်းပြီးအဲ့ဝင်းကျင်လောက်ရအောင် target ထားပြီးရှာနိုင်မှအဆင်ပြေရော Rancy လည်းမတက်ဘူး Rancy အဲ့လိုမျိုး
There's more to
ဟို
go.
run စီကဘာမှမရောက်ဘူး run 3မှာဟို5 point လောက်ရမယ်ဟာလေးသိလား
To the game now.
shot 3ရရင်တော့မှ9မှတ်လောက်ရမယ်ဟာဆိုတော့ဒါကျွန်တော်တို့ဒါတစ်စက်ကွက်ဖြုတ်လိုက်ရင်4မှတ်ရပြီဗျတစ်စက်ကွက်ဖြုတ်တဲ့အမှတ်ကပိုကောင်းနေတယ်လေ
Plenty of unboxing going on here. I know Maxman's deep in the
အဲ့
unboxing.
တော့ဖြစ်နေချင်တာကတော့ဖေးရသလောက်ကောက်ပြီးတော့ဗျာ
Before we need to get him on it.
ဟို target လေးထားပြီးတော့အမှတ်ပိုရှာနေချင်တယ်တော့အဲ့လိုဟာဒီဘက်ငါ10မှတ်လောက်တော့ရအောင်ရှာမယ်ဆို10မှတ်10မှတ်လောက်တော့ရအောင်ရှာမယ်ဆို10မှတ်ကံကောင်းရင်ဗျာ chicken စားပါညာအကုန်လုံးကဗျာဒါပြောရမယ်ဆိုကောင်းတဲ့သင်းကြီးပဲဆိုတော့ဗျာသိရမလားအဲ့လိုမျိုး chicken ကလည်းပွဲတိုင်းမှန်းလို့ရရတယ်မှာမပါဘူးဗျာသိလားအဲ့လို Russian နေရာမှာလည်းနည်းနည်းကန်နေပါလေဆိုင်ကို Russian ဟိုမောင်းကသိရမလားကိုကအင်အားများပြီးသူတို့ကအင်အားနည်းသွားရင်လည်းဒါပွိုင်းရရမဟုတ်ဘဲနဲ့ကိုကသိရမလားသွား Russian နေရာနည်းနည်းမှားသွားတယ်ပါဆိုလည်းပြန်ပါနိုင်အဲ့တော့ဒီကတော့တန်းနေတော့ point ရှာဖို့ပဲကြံပေးရင်လည်းကြီးရပါပဲကြီးရ disband လေကြီးရ disband ကြပြီကြီးရ organization မရှိတော့ဘူးအဲ့ဒါကြောင့်ကဲကျွန်တော်လာ Mirror မှာ match my fight လေးဆက်လက်ပြီးအားပေးလိုက်ရအောင်ဗျာနော် match my fight Mirror မှာဆက်လက်အားပေးကြည်ကြည်အမေ
into first place and very near to qualifying. Speaking of which,
Okay.
Fireflux,
YG.
Falcons, Noxium, Red Force, Power Esports, all
ဒီနေ့ Mirror မှာတို့လမ်းနေပဲရွေးမလဲချက်ကြည့်ရအောင်
as it currently stands. Let's even throw in Regnum Karya and E Arena too. Yangon Galacticos, by the way, struggling early on, but that last win put them up in top 8, knocking Alpha 7 down, which is huge. Let's see if they can carry that momentum on the Miramar.
I mean, when you're looking at getting 70 points over the 12 matches, you're looking at maybe having 4 big games under your belt where you're starting to stretch into the teens and then keeping your lower games consistent, and that can be sort of healthy to sit, right? You're getting up above 50 points on your good games, on your 4 big games, your 8 small games.
ကားယူပြီးတော့ valley ထဲမှာသွားမှာလားမသိဘူး valley ထဲမှာ
on those games, which in general is
PSN နေရတာမွန်တီရွေးပြီးသွားပြီဗျာ
right. They've already posted those numbers. They've already played 4 big games. The question is consistency, keeping those lower scoring matches under the belt nice and consistent. That is what I'm looking for. You could, of course, just if you're Falcons, just put up a a big 30-point game, 20.
ဆုံးဖိုင်းတယ်ချူမသွားလို့တော့ရတယ်
It's just that easy, so I think they should.
အဲ့တော့ချူမသွားမှာတော့မဟုတ်တော့
Falcons, that's a great narrative because look at where they land. Right next to Alpha 7, 2 giants. Of course, for the home crowd, man, that's going to be a spicy one to say the least. And well, for Falcons, they're very comfortable happy where they currently are.
အဲ့ဘူးဆိုမှ A7 နဲ့ Falcon နဲ့ထုံးတဲ့တိုင်းပဲကြွေးပြီ
Alpha 7 needs to gain some confidence.
It's all on Koa as well. I think it was Narvalo, if I'm not mistaken, who didn't have a weapon in this scenario. Okay, he's managed to find himself something. Revo with the pump action around the corner. A death deal without the armor to assuage any of the damage. Cloa gets caught and immediately flushed as well. Carrillo with the nade and the Winchester in tow. Narvalo with the UMP and the M4, so he's got the ordnance to be able to do it. A sneaky little dash out the sidelines, hops wide, and takes care of one, maybe turning on for a second.
အော်ကောင်းလိုက်တာကွာ
Mad drop shot to keep the Falcons in this one.
And he's going for the third. The third is right in front of him. That squash catches the backpack but doesn't connect the shots. Narvalo forced to reposition, pulling off a heroic effort. Now you got Redox who's also pushing in to assist.
အော်ဒီကောင်ကောင်းသွားတာ
This collapse from the Alpha 7 roster, but Squash manages to drop Narvalo, but not in enough time. Redox hits the final shot. Revo will fall, and therefore Alpha 7 will be the first team eliminated.
A massive drop shot coming through from Narvalo.
ဟာပီကာရိုမားလည်းဒီမှာစုပ်ရရှင်းတယ် IE နဲ့ Power Game Xbox နဲ့
Keep them towards the
ဟောဒီကောင်တွေက format အလိုက်ပါရင်တို့ရောက်သွားတာဟမ်ပီကာရိုမားလည်းစုပ်ရရှင်းနေတာမှာ IG ကတကောင်ပဲကြံတယ်တက်သွားတယ်
hot drop did happen in the meantime. It was over in Picado and Rectum Kaya suffering
တွေ့သွားပြီ
losses towards
အဲ့တော့ live ဖြတ်မှာပေါ့တကောင်ပဲကြံတော့လဲဟာ
Taking some heavy losses, but Falcons getting that win. Narvalo flipping the script.
အပေါ်မှာတကောင်ရှိသေးတယ်
Falcons should have been dead at that moment. Alpha 7 should have been leading with a squad wipe, but instead, Narvalo flips the script with the 3-piece, and that's why Falcons are currently in first place. That's why we continually talk about them. That's why they are the home team.
They have got a lot of strength to them. They lose one player, sure. But I mean, it was all on Narvalo, right? You can't take it away from the guy. We do criticize him sometimes. You know, he is French, and that speaks for itself.
Your words, not mine.
But he's absolutely nailed that, to be fair. I could not imagine a better result coming through. That dash through the corridor caught Alpha 7 completely unawares. In that moment, they had their heads spun, and they just weren't able to get undizzy enough in time to be able to pull that one back together. It was absolutely insane, and just as we talked about Alpha 7 being strong on Miramar as well.
It's
ironic. Comes full-fledged, full doesn't do that. I firmly believe Alpha 7 wins that fight. Narvalo doesn't pick up that many elims, but yeah, getting out, disengaging, and really spinning the heads of Alpha 7 was just tremendous. We obviously look at power in this moment, a replay, seeing what happened to Regnum Karia at the very end. Getting active, taking one down in conjunction with his teammates, of course, and Regnum Karia being put into the blender. Some extra shots, power filling themselves today, and rightly so. You look at their group play to their survival stage play, night and day difference.
Absolutely. I mean, that for Regnum Karia, that felt like what
right? So control imagine
Regnum Karia, they lose a player and they all go, "Oh, I'm hiding. Maybe I get a trade." Not Narvalo, and he's able to pull that one back. And we've banged on enough about him, but it was pretty poggers, as they used to say.
All right, that's a historic. Now you're getting wild.
That's an old reference. That's an old reference. That one now.
That is an old reference, indeed. That is a fossil. But I mean, honestly, we talked about it. Last thing I'll say, that could very well be the play of the day, without question. The play of really.
The Falcons are doing well today, man.
Without a doubt, Falcons have flipped the script, and it's so great to see that. You know, I spoke with Peck, right, the coach of Team Falcons, and he said it. Look, you know. They wanted to go from group play straight into. But you know, it is what it is. They go to survival stage to make the most of it, and they are clearly doing the best they possibly can. And well, for this roster too on your screen, Nox from Red Force been so very happy with their day 2 group play performance, and their survival stage performance is phenomenal. The question was, could they keep up that energy? Well, they absolutely have. Loxy last alive. We obviously saw what happened to Regnum Karia just as hard as he possibly can.
Just a solo, though, a lone ranger in the Wild West. Let's hope he can keep things together. But he's got basically nothing as well, right? This is the downside. He had to evacuate. Especially with teams moving so central as it stands to the east side of Montenuevo, out over towards the Cardo as well. A lot of teams have started to conglomerate. We'll see if that is going to have an impact on Loxy's survival stakes.
Yeah, I think he's pretty cooked at the moment, but you know what? Loxy's still up. We've seen solo players make an impact, but the rest of the story has to be on the remaining full-fledged rosters. Plenty of teams and 3 themselves. A standout day. Top 6, well on their way into potentially Chumasera, maybe over towards where Kinotrope is currently at. Still plenty of real estate within the stage, within the zone. No reason to get too antsy at the moment. I do focus more on vision, influence, rage, area up towards contested.
It is getting chock-a-block right now on the northwest side of Picardo, up towards those hills and power grid. Not really too much breathing room here. It's deep light vision that need to get a go right now. Next circle just coming on through in a moment. Trying to push in from Grave, sweeping north. Gamax leaving from Los Leones. not too many teams actually have to move because of this. I'm going to be interested to see how the Falcons get in here because they're right next to Aura, where it seems like Navarro
ဟိုကောင်နေနဲ့ဗာလဲ KNG နဲ့တွေ့တော့မှာ
the hero, the reason why Falcons are still
YG ဟုတ်တယ်ဟိုဘက်တောင်ဒီဘက်တောင်ပဲကျွေးသန်းပေါက်တော့မယ်ကျွေးသန်း
some great damage. We go back to the initial start and you notice Alpha 7 are clearing out.
အဲ့ရတော့ကောင်းတယ်နော်ဖယ်ကုန်းက
clears the hallway, drop shot for the second, and then picks up the last remaining member in the corner of Squash and pops off. You know, seeing emotion from the players really pieces it all together. You can see how much that moment meant for Team Falcons.
My God, just the weight of the sheer brass bollocks on that player.
Rob တို့ကဘယ်လေးနိုင်မှာအားချောင်းတယ်
It is unbelievable and
ကိုရီတိုင်းပဲ
very proud. You saw there that Ralph was
အဲ့
absolutely
YG အဲ့နေရာရတာအဆင်ပြေတယ်ဟာ EA နဲ့ကျွန်တော်က IF နဲ့တွေ့ပြီ
probably still going to be feeling themselves.
ကဲ
As they carry on with
EA ဘာလို့ပြအောင်လဲလုံးပါမွန်မန်တို့ရက်ခွက်ကလည်းနည်း
It is influence rage.
ထားနေနေဒီကောင်လေးလေ
To keep things under control, but they've only got 2 players on the side for influence.
ဒါအပေါ်မှာတကောင်တော့ပါပြီ
Off to the north from Vision.
One of our first battles for center zone control.
အော် DB ကကြီးကိုအဲ့လိုမျိုးပြေးတက်တာပဲခင်ဗျာနှစ်ကောင်
starts to answer back a much needed
Oh, sure.
snips it out. Arena, we'll see you later.
အပေါ်က BSN တွေက
some damage, they lose 2 players.
ကေးလိုက်ကောက်ချင်တယ်မရဘူး
for staying up and well, you had power with the third party.
ထင်တော့တော့မလွယ်ဘူး
Vision, as you mentioned on that hilltop. The good thing is for influence rage, they are quite literally dead center. Despite them not having the man advantage in multiple fights, there's no reason for them to move. But Team Vision, same scenario. They're not going anywhere. And once Diego and Lobo, if they do have to leave that hardcover POI alone, any of the members from Vision, they're going to be ready.
Vision on this high ground with suppressive shots out a lot of different directions here. It is a question of extracting value. You know, can you take to
အားရ NS ကရောက်နေပြီ BSN နောက်မှာ
some gems, or are you just going to be taking down?
IG ရတော့ကရှေ့ပုံးနေရသူ့မှာ
around you, maybe not managing that threat correctly. With only 2 points so far today, it seems like they haven't really got the wherewithal to hold a split like this. If you're going by the results that they've seen so far, as teams start to push in, their mettle will be tested, and we'll see if they can weather the storm.
Benny's been in the dirt for quite some time, hanging out, scouting. Team Vision just up ahead.
နည်းနည်းလေးတော့သတိထားဖို့လိုပြီ
You also have Loxy in this area too. This hilltop, quite deadly. And Benny setting a trap very slowly. But
နည်းနည်းလေးတော့သတိထားဖို့တော့လိုပြီ
Vision,
YG ဒီဆုံးထပ်ပါလိုက်ကွာဟောနည်းနည်းသွားတော့မယ်အရှိက KN နေရဆုံးပါတယ်ကွာ
changes for influence, rage, power, vision. They're still going to be
ကဲတော့ဘာရွေးချယ်မလဲ KN ကိုချလို့တော့မလွယ်တော့ဘူးဒီကောင်လေးနေကပြန်ပြီးထောက်ထားတာ YG အောက်ဘက်ဆင်းလို့ရှိရင် IG တွေဘက်ရောက်သွားရင်တော့ IG တွေကိုကောင်းလာချတာလေးကိုစောင့်ပြီးတော့ဝင်သွားချရင်တော့မဆိုးဘူး
quickly moving in and
မအရှိမချနေပြီဖယ်ကုန်းနေနဲ့ပါဝါရနေတော့
on Team Falcons.
I think Falcons have just lost 1 on the approach there. Yeah, you can
ဖယ်
see
ကုန်းတော့ထပ်ပေးလိုက်ရပြီ
they tried to crash in towards power. It's
စဉ်းစားYG ဘာလုပ်မလဲဘယ်ဘာလုပ်မလဲစမိုင်းတော့
It's working. They have got that western point held down and easy all the way out to the eastern side with 4 players alive. It looks like they are going to go for that regroup, so they aren't going to try and get too bold with it there. They've extracted the value from the corner compound and they're just going to retreat off it. I think that's sensible, and they are going to be able to make out like bandits with 5 elims and now a position on the east in a very central location.
Very much indeed. Team Power looking so strong. Team Falcons taking the shack. I never liked this spot. John, I'm not a favorite guy for the shack, man. His spot is rough. I call it the Death Shack. IG is going to keep them in check, but that's where the Falcons decide to stay. As far as I'm concerned, any point Falcons get from this moment is a miracle. Every single point Falcons is able to accumulate is simply due to Narvalo. So we'll take the victories. We'll take the W's where we can get them. But for IG, hanging out.
IG နေရာကောင်းတယ် YG တခုစဉ်းစားမှရတော့မယ်ဒီကောင်လေးဇုံကလည်းလာနေပြီတို့ချက်တော့ချက်နေရအောက်မှလည်းရှိရတို့ဘာလုပ်မလဲဆို rotation ပြန်သွားမှာလားဟုတ်တယ် rotation ပြန်သွားမှာ
keeping them back, forcing Yangon Galacticus to go all the way into pop.
ဒါမှမဟုတ်ဒီကောင်လေးဟိုကောင်လေးကိုစိုင်ဖို့အတွက် Romeo ကို plan ခိုင်းလိုက်တာလားမသိဘူး
Oh dear. Uh-oh. Yangon Galacticos is going to re-rotate out on this one.
ဟုတ်တယ် rotate ရအောင် rotate မလုပ်လို့မရဘူးစိုင်မှာထင်တယ်ဒီနေရာကိုစိုင်ဖို့ရွေးချယ်ထားတာဖြစ်မယ်
We are going to see them sent on in. Maybe scouting towards Kinotrope here, who are rotating out to the southeast side, but not getting too bold with it. I like that. He's heard a couple of those shots coming through. He'll know that there's a player now off in the distance.
Romeo ရောက်တာမသိသေးဘူးထင်တယ်
A little short, take a couple of shots. The rest of Kinotrope looking to respond here, and they'll be aware now of a presence.
Romeo ရောက်တာမသိသေးဘူးထင်တယ်
On their flank. Fortunately, not too many other teams are going to put pressure on towards Kinotrope, so they can take the time to deal with this.
Smile swings it quite wide. Kinotrope
ကြားပါပြီ
keenly aware of Yangon Galactica's position and where they are rotating to.
အော်ဒီဘက်ချက်မှာလွတ်တယ်တွတ်ဒီအောက်ကအိမ်နေမှာလွတ်တယ်
Instead of engaging
ဒီအောက်ကဒီကိုရောင်နေလွတ်တယ်
Yangon Galactica is pushing up that hilltop for the fight's not going to be easy, so they
ဒီနေရာရလည်းမစိုးဘူးနော်ဒီနေရာရထားလည်းမစိုးဘူးကောင်းတယ်ဒီနေရာအေးဟိုကောင်လေးတော့ဇုံမပါတော့တွတ်
take over the hardcover
ကောင်းတယ်အဲ့နေရာ
just on the edge of where the current stage is at.
ဘယ်နေရာထိသွားမှာလဲ
Maybe they could just go ahead and go a little bit
ရပြီဒီနေရာမှာယူလိုက်ပြီယူလိုက်ပြီအဲ့နေရာတော့ပဲဖြစ်စေချင်တာရှေ့တော့ဆက်မတိုးစေချင်သေးဘူးချိန်နေကြည့်ပြီးတော့မှဇုံသွားပြီးတော့မှဆက်တိုးမှရမှာပွဲတဲ့အမရဖို့ရေးကြည့်နေဟုတ်တယ်ဘလေးပြန်ဝိုင်းရောက်တယ်အဘယ် equal to လောက်မဟုတ်ဘူးမရအောင်ကျော်ဘက်က greater than ကို equal to လောက်မှ level လောက်ဖြစ်မှာ oh rough သွားပြီ
A nice little do-si-do sidestep from R8, and that is the Falcons out of the running. They get 4 points on the match. They'll be okay with that. 46 points, not a terrible way to end match 5.
Well, for the second game in a row, R8 will take down Team Falcons. They did it just on Erringale, map 4. They do it again here on map 5, albeit again, Team Falcons staying alive as long as they did, pulling out the heroic fight against Alpha 7. We'll give them their flowers despite the early exit. Falcons did exactly what they needed to do. For Say Cloud, he split from his team. Yangon Galacticus has sent their other 3 away. Say Cloud said, I'm staying back. I want to try and attack Kinotrope if I possibly can, but I believe Final is keenly aware that there is a straggler of Say Cloud hanging off in the distance, but that fight still hasn't unfolded just yet, but I'm sure it's going to happen eventually.
On the west side.
ဒီပွဲမရဖို့လုံနေဒီပွဲနဲ့ရှစ်မှတ်လောက်တော့ရမှာဖြစ်မယ်ဗျာ
Decision, make your call. And let's go for it. Waiting for teammates to heal up a little bit, and they go up towards the high ground, taking a little bit of flank from across the way. But their rotate continues. They're heading straight on in towards the circle here. From the west.
ကောင်းလေးဇုံရသွားပြီ
Short up on the road. So
ဟိုရိုင်းလည်းကတိုးလေးပဲယူတာကဲဝိုင်းကြီးဒီနာဝေးနေတဲ့ကောင်တွေကိုကြွေးရ
says our trap didn't work. We'll reposition. Live to fight yet another day, but over here we got Fireflux fighting off against Noxum Red Force. Player that was truly instrumental into the last end zone before. Now Noxum Red Force have a tremendous advantage, especially with Tizzy with the off angle. The question is with Scarface, he's been hurt Doc and Tizzy quite a bit.
ဘာကြီးအဆင်ပြေလားရဲ့အဆင်ကတော့ပြေသေးရဲ့ rat ဒီပွဲနဲ့နောက်ပွဲနဲ့အမှတ်ရမှပိုကောင်းပါသားခဲ့အမှတ်ကလိုနေတာသူတို့တော့အိမ်မှာပဲရှစ်သိန်းမှတ်တက်မှာ final က
ends in disaster of a Fireflux losing a player in this compound. They had the numbers.
နဲ့လောက်တာ
They maintain it, but it could have been a 2-to-1.
ပြေးပြီ Scarface တို့
Scarface actually sending away, and I at this point, yeah, fair house for you. You know, you've got power to your south. You want to try and hold face because third parties, they're going to come at you thick and fast if you get a little bit too spread thin.
Yeah, he's got a great line of sight too. Noxum Red Force, if they do move out of this spot, they should be spotted. Fireflux taking over the shed. That's going to be great for them. Power, most likely going to be the Grim Reapers of everyone in that engagement. Onto Ora, they spot out Kinotrope, fire a couple of shots. Kinotrope quickly as can be, trying to rotate out. They finally make do, but off in a distance, you've got another solo from Kinotrope, who's firing down on Ora, keeping them to the ground. Gamix also up ahead, and Kinotrope has to fight off.
Power's position just keeps getting better and better with these circle shifts. Dead center, control of compounds, hillsides to play around as well. They're out in the open a little bit, but they've got so much maneuverability, and the teams around them have got none. That northern side, Visions are going to have to leave their high ground position that they've held for so long. And Loxy, who's been solo since that drop, is going to have to do the same. He's dead now, will not be playing on into this one. So from the north side, it's just Vision who have to make their dash. But the western edge is about to get chaotic. There are 4 teams looking to push on in from this location, and Gamex are going to look to stop them all.
What a no fear taking down the vehicle.
Nate.
That's going to leave
the
member from Kinotrope out in the open. He
Boa
can't
thao de, mẹ ảo.
No fear is keeping his
Boa
head
thao
down.
de. Hay bà lại ra.
And it's going to be up to, of course, Kinotrope to try and get in front of them. But if they can somehow distance themselves from Hora, they can live to fight another day. But I got to be honest with you, I don't like where Kinotrope is currently at.
The question is, can Gamex do this hold, right? Can they actually make it work? On the 5 matches they played today, 6 points only. The similar story back in the group stages. This is a team that has really struggled in this tournament. So I do wonder if they're going to be able to execute this hold in the same way that I'd have confidence that other teams could. A brilliant spray from Ozzy-san to find the knock over towards Ora, and once again entrenches them down in this ditch. They're going to have a really tough time. They're going to leave Jiggle, see how far they can go. No fear on foot, has to try and march.
1G ချစ်ကန်ရပြီးသွားပြီကိုကြီးခုနကပွဲချစ်ကန်ရပြီးသွားပြီကိုကြီးသိလား 1G
Where he's currently at, do they know he's going to be
ဒီပွဲထက်ရသေးတယ်ဗျာအမှတ်လေးပါလေးဖိုင်းအောင်ဟောဘာလဲ line တွေထင့်နေရလားပွဲကောင်းနေပြီနော်မနှောက်နဲ့
really IG rolls in.
IG ဝင်လာတာကြီးဟျောင်းရေကားတစ်စီးရဲနဲ့ချက်ပွဲလိုက်ကြီးကိုဝင်ထုတာ KN နေကအေးအမရောက်သွားလိုက်ဝင်လာတဲ့ကောင်တွေမှားပြီအမနှစ်ကောင်တော့ပါသွားပြီ
Anything, can he even get out? I don't think so. The fact that Kinotrope has turned the fight, turned the tides in their favor is tremendous.
17 tons of death crates in the area. Everybody's going down. Kinotrope looking to try and stay alive across the road, but they've still got to go a little bit further.
ဘာဖုန်းနဲ့စောင့်နေရလဲ Horror Magic 7 လားမသိဘူး Horror Magic 7 Pro လားမသိဘူးဒီကောင်လေးခဏကျွန်တော်ပြီးရင်ပြပေးမယ်ဟာစောရတယ်ဖုန်း
The only team to actually still have a
Android ပဲ Android ပဲဒါပေမဲ့ကောင်လေးဖုန်းကတော်တော် heat တက်တယ်ထင်တယ်
on the western edge.
player တပွဲပြီးသွားလို့ရှိရင်တခါဥစားပေါ်တင်ရဖန်ကာပေါ်တင်ရ
Just like that, IG
ဘာကြီးချင်းနေကောင်းတယ်ချစ်သိမ်းမဲ့ကြံတော့တယ်ကဲရှစ်မှတ်တော့ရအောင်ဖန်ကွာအနည်းဆုံး
I didn't even catch it until it was going down. I couldn't imagine how
in
that moment. But hey, our Americas region teams are highly aggressive, and that was a great representation of it. IG full send straight in. Well, that clears up quite a few players, and now we focus our attention. Influence Rage Diego.
စုံလဲရသေးတယ်ဗျာဝိုင်းကြီး
keeping the pressure on to R8.
Central circle shift pops up for us, and again, over towards power. They are going to look to keep this farming up on the points now with the 42 that they currently have. They want all that they can get out of this one. Feel themselves nice and safe. In towards... They've got 5 elims already on this match, and nobody really stepping their toes anywhere near them. Yangon Galacticos at this stage, I think, is their major threat. From this south side, the approach could be taken control of if they can get rid of AXTMG on 3 players on that south side.
It's up to Romeo to call that out. Hey, Henry, Cyrex is going to be just behind us. Do we want to push the issue and take them down? Gatekeep them if we possibly can. My only concern would be power dead center, but hey, either way, they've got to deal with one or the other. Maybe even challenge Gamex, only because even though they're in a great spot, we know they are potentially a weaker team for Yangon Galacticos to push into. And with Influence Rage firing some shots in the location, it might very well be doable. The question is, where does Influence Rage go from this moment, right? They only have a handful of members left. They've been shooting at clearly R8 is going to fire at them when they decide to move in. But I think for Influence Rage, there's really nowhere safe to go.
I mean, you're going to have to play terrain at this point, right? They do have a couple of vehicles, and it's not out of the question that they could crash to the shack that sits to the southwest of Vision, north of Power. But that's a dangerous run out, and R8 are definitely going to take shots. Little boy might be going for it, though. He's mounting up, he's moving.
Lozen.
To keep some shots, keep some suppressive fire on, but he eats a bullet too many, and he is sent down.
မမန်နေကိုကြောဖတ်နေရမယ်ဒီပြင်မှာအတင်းတောင်းနေဘာတော့ဖတ်တယ်ကိုသားငယ်တော့သွားပြီကိုသားငယ်ကိုကြီးအားဆိုတော့နားစည်းကန်းလိုအပ်နေပြီကျွန်တော်ဖတ်သွားတယ်သိလားကိုကြီး line ကောင်းတာဟုတ်ရင်မဟုတ်ရင်တော့အဲ့ဒါကျွန်တော်နောက်တစ်ပတ်ကြာလို့ရှိရင်ကိုကြီးနားစည်းကန်းလေးတူတူသွားလိုက်ရအောင်ဘရိုကတော့ကြားရင်ကြားအောင်ပါ
managed to push a little bit deeper towards that airdrop, and now for AXTMG, there's really nowhere they can go that's safe.
Power takes shots out towards Henry. He's down, he's flushed. Cyrex now looking to potentially regroup towards Devotee, who's trying to suppress.
YED ကအေးကောင်းတယ်ဟိုဘက်နည်းနည်းလေးထက်ကတာအဲ့နေရာ position မစိုး fine သေးတယ်
and actually doesn't want to stop there. Gathering momentum, he's going to divert across and play on top of
Fine, is it?
outpost. Devotee has his team regrouped towards him.
အော်စမိုင်းတော့ဝိုင်းအေးရကောင်းတယ်ဘာလိုက်ပြင်အာရမရမထွန်းနဲ့ကားနောက်မှာပဲနေ
They may not have the numbers, but they've got the heart and are utilizing it as much as humanly possible. A team that needs to claw their way up the standings, currently in 14th with 8 points. That's simply not going to be enough, but with 2 more games remaining, this being one of them, they understand what's at stake, understand what they need to do. Power in such a beautiful spot, still dead center, all eyes on them, but of course for Lil Boy, 2 players from Gamix up ahead, he lost his duo just Panda's out, and Lil Boy is
ရှင်းတော့လိုအပ်နေဟုတ်တယ်ဘရိုကောပြောလိုက်အောင်ကျွန်တော်ဖတ်သွားတယ်ဆိုတော့ဒါရမကြားရလားမသိဘူးလားအကြောင်း
Beautiful, but no, not to be. Doesn't have any nades, and he has been tagged now by Gamax, who is standing up on the ridge line. But Power, no ridges here.
Not at all.
Push a little bit further.
ဘောနေမခါတိုင်းတော့ထနေရ
Down time and time again. Are they going to invest more nades?
ပြဟိုဝိုင်းကြီးပြနေရှယ်ပြစကားခွဲပြီလေကားခွဲပြီလေ
In the middle of this circle for the longest time. That's
ဝိုင်းကြီးပြနေကားခွဲပြီလေကောင်းတယ်တကောင်တော့ဝိုင်း
with the side swipes.
Another one.
Are falling flat once more.
And Lil Boy's just having the time of his life. Still looking at R8, the Grim Reapers to his duo just a little bit earlier in Diego. For Gamix,
Another one
in front of you. Lil Boy, I understand you're going for placements points. You're trying to stay alive as long as humanly possible, but make a move.
You hope so. But standing up, I mean, you could see immediately how Romeo would spot Lil Boy as soon as he crawls too far forwards with no nades either. It's just too dangerous here. The Molotov on the tree, Lil Boy's chilling. And Gamax are going to get pushed in, but so is Lil Boy.
Just a tough situation for both, right? For Gamix, for Lil Boy, really know where they can go. And here comes the blue zone starting to engulf Gamix as they just crawl forward. And well, eventually, boys, you just gotta move.
နေကုန်နေစလုံးမှန်ကတော့ Ronaldo is going on နာမည်တွေပြီးတဲ့ကနေသွားပြီအဲ့လိုနာမည်တွေပြီးတဲ့ဆိုတဲ့နဲ့သွားပြီ
He's going to focus his attention onto Gamix and the first victim underway.
It's going to be on the swivel there. That was
တယောက်ပေးရပြီလားမသိဘူးဝိုင်းကြီး
Influence Rage will fall. It looks like Gamax are going to be falling fairly soon as well, as Krona had to stand up and give his position away to R8, who rotated down to the western side. They're playing on us 2, and they do not have too many more options than this. There's Yango yet again to pick themselves up. Romeo got rezzed in the meantime, and again, was really the only chance to take power down.
စုံနေတာလေးရတော့တော်တော်လေး fine တယ်ကောင်းတယ် AC ကိုဖြတ်စမ်းကွာ
A little bit more trouble with it.
R8 might be moving straight into him. There's so many line of sights, whether it's Power, Yangon Galacticus, you're really never safe.
ဝိုင်းကြီး position ကမစိုး
The cat's going to be out of the bag. R8's been spotted. Vision knows exactly where they are, and they also know it's just going to be a duo. For Yangon Galacticus pushing forward.
အိမ်ကကောင်တွေကိုသတိထားမှရ
They've been sitting here for the longest
Nice.
time. They're on 8 eliminations. They're going for double digits, and I see no reason why this game doesn't go to them.
အော်အိမ်ကကောင်တွေကိုစုံထပ်ပေးတယ်
When do these teams crash around the edge?
ဝိုင်းကြီးစုံမပါတော့ဘူးဒီခုခုစဉ်းစားမှရတော့မယ်အိမ်ကိုဒီတိုင်းပြေးတိုက်လို့ရတော့လည်းမလွယ်ဘူးအဲ့အိမ်ကမလွယ်ဘူး
Could be disastrous, but that needs Vision to stay alive. And
အားဒီက position ကောင်းတယ်
reticent to let that happen, never alone. Steps out,
အော်
straight down. And R8
အားလေရဲစံတွေကမွားပြီ
the last to stand for Vision's on the northern edge. Needs to keep himself together. The nade goes up on high towards Prestige, but they split the difference. Will find a knock. No, not quite. And they know it now exactly what tree he's playing behind. It's only a matter of time.
Only a matter of time indeed. Bolt needs to hit a miracle nade. It's cooking, it's thrown, but it's been dodged. And Bolt still in dire straits. Vision, too much tunnel
သေ
vision.
ပြီတင်တာမသိဘူးကွာအဲ့ကောင်မသိတာဟုတ်တယ်
Even though they had to have known the duo was there, but they didn't respect them enough. And
ပြန်ကယ်လို့ရပြီ
once they started firing up Power up ahead, R8 took the opportunity to third
ပြန်ကယ်လို့ရပြီ
and now it's an absolute disaster for Vision.
And this is so annoying for Yangon Galacticos as well. They needed that opportunity, right?
ကဲဝိုင်းကြီးပါလုံးလေဝိုင်းကြီးပါလုံးလေ
The Power lose to 2 full 4 pushes.
စမိုင်းတော့သွားပြီ
Second place, but now as it stands, Power can just take these shots for free. Now,
Smile à ba pí lại rồi.
immediately they're starting
Con này xí cái lọ.
cannons towards
Con piano về, con piano ba hồ lại.
is getting dangerous, but for
Cái đấy nó xem cái giá bị á.
and power lose a player.
Cái xem cái giá bị á. Là.
Very, very strong. Gang on Galactica is going to have to fight even harder, especially now with one more.
Brazil đó xây lại xem cái giá. Nhái lù giá. Chắc cái mẹ là biết làm gì. Thì bữa xem cái về qua tham ăn ha bị đó.
Being really the savior for Vision in this moment. Now, granted,
我哋先咪講啦，但係 check 緊慢慢嘅。
I still feel once they start to apex
嘅
that hill,
啊，個別先啱嘅，數難嘅啦。
Yeah, it's really nasty stuff here. 3 nades in hand for SayCloud. It looks like they don't have too much more smoke to work with. They're looking out for R8. They've seen Prestige, but the
nades are
just going to ring on over this ridge line. That Molotov is beautiful.
唔ရတော့，唔ရတော့。
Them into the blue zone and they'll go down to it.
唔ရတော့，打တော့唔ရတော့。
For Yangon Galacticos either way, getting
Why
into
you-
the top 4 of the chicken dinner. But Vision, they're still going like
Top
you said,
four
they're
rồi
trying
đó.
to find a little bit of recovery, but they are still
機會咪咪ရ嚟咧
it seems on the northern side with 9 elims.
係咪？先咪揾嘢落ရတယ်，ပြဿနာမရှိဘူး嘅。
nonetheless, you got to give them their flowers where flowers are due. Vision, where do you go from here? You just got to push forward. You got R8 to your right. Now Haji now starting to get active. Getting a forward position onto Team Vision. Marcelo as well. Oh, Haji's down. Did Power just throw this game away?
啊！呢條杯嚟啊！
That one, it is still a lot of pressure on Division. They will fall, but now it's a 2 versus 2. Inside the building, Power is going to start to lose pressure very, very quickly. Ragnar needs to find a way out. So does Easy. These walls have now turned into their prison, and the ankle is swept underneath the vehicle there. It's all up to Easy now in a 1 versus 2. All right, looking to turn things around, but the res can come through, and Al-Haji being back on his feet could be crucial.
R8 from Team Falcons. They continue to push forward. They take down Vision, and now they're looking to take the game in sensational fashion. Only 2 more players remain up ahead. Power able to recover just for the meantime. A true 2v2. Easy's moving out. He's taking damage. He's now up close and personal with the team of Power. Prestige, though, refusing to back down, hitting the shots needed as Power starts to collapse. And is it R8? Yes, it is, as they take a tremendous victory, taking it away from everyone.
Power Esports had the center of the zone for so long, and as soon as the blue zone shifts them out of it, they crumble. That is a great result for R8 to pick up the pace
ကဲ
here.
ဗနမလေးရလေးပဲကြည့်လိုက်မယ်။နောက်ဆုံးဘက်လည်းအဲ့လို8မှတ်လောက်ပဲဖန်လာတာ။မနေ့ပြန်ပဲပြောတာပါ။
But there are
ဒီနေ့ကတော့
still some other good
ကြားသလောက်ပေါ့
results
ဘွဲ
out of that match. You got Vision starting their journey, seemingly asleep for the first 4 matches. Match number 5, they open their eyes. You've also got to look over towards Team.
Well, I mean, I'm even looking at Power with the 2nd place. Double-digit elimination.
That's who I was thinking of, Power.
Double-digit
Sorry,
elimination
I
for the
completely
2nd.
blanked.
Without a doubt. I mean, R8, what a victory, and I cannot wait for the Nets to break it down. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, the final game of Day 1 Survival Stage will be underway.
။အခုလာမယ့်ပွဲကနောက်ဆုံးပဲဆိုတော့အခုမီယာမတစ်ပွဲကြံသေးတယ်။
PUBG Mobile fans, we are delighted to invite you to the 2025 PUBG Mobile World Cup at the Esports World Cup in Riyadh, KSA. This exciting event will take place from July 25th to August 3rd at the Boulevard City. We've prepared tons of event perks, such as the PMWC avatar frame, Esports Passion set, Esports Passion parachute, and tons more items. Let's check out how you can get all these rewards. During the tournament, go to the event page via lobby, event center, esports to join the event. Mormon from SEA, Top from CSA, Pedrinho from the Americas, Silas from the EU, and Prestige from MENA will guide you through the 5 major parts of the event. They consist of tournament celebration, prediction rewards, esports shop, themed outfit, and champion challenge. Join these activities to earn rewards and collect esports tokens to redeem even more gifts in the esports shop. The more esports tokens you collect, the better rewards you'll get. You can get up to 2,870 esports tokens from the prediction event. It takes place from July 23rd to August 5th and consists of 3 stages that coincide with the tournament: group stage, survival stage, and grand finals. During the group stage, get 20 esports tokens by predicting the 8 teams you think will advance directly to the grand finals. Each correct prediction will grant you an additional 60 tokens. Make a total of 3, 6, and 8 correct predictions to get 300, 680, and 720 tokens, respectively. You'll get another chance during the survival stage to guess the other 8 teams that will make it to the grand finals. The rewards are the same as the group stage. During the grand finals, you must try and predict the ultimate champion. Just predicting will grant 30 tokens, and a correct prediction will grant 400 tokens. If you're unsure about your predictions, you can let your friends' predictions guide you. Find someone reliable, copy their predictions, and wait to be rewarded. The 3 prediction rounds take place on July 27th, July 30th, and August 3rd at 10:45 UTC 0. Rewards are issued the second day after each stage ends at 4 AM UTC 0. You'll receive esports tokens based on your prediction results. Note, esports tokens don't expire and can be used in future esports events. Who do you think will be the ultimate champion? Join the 2025 PMWC event and share your predictions. Invite your friends to join the predictions and watch the tournament unfold.
R8, pretty great. 100% out, 8 out of 8 coming from them here in this game to start Miramar. We have got ourselves a brilliant victory for them here at PMWC. Joining me, we have ourselves Neptura as well as Maxman to talk about this one. And we have got ourselves finally an R8 win here. Neptura, very well done.
It's very nice to see. We wanted to see that in group stage. We didn't really, but there we go. And we finally see it here, and it was a really nice one indeed.
It's not just an R8 win. This is a meaner podium.
Yes,
right?
it is.
R8, you have power, you have vision. We're like, oh, they've been kind of underwhelming this tournament so far, but no, they all get to the podium finish. And actually, every team kind of had their very good plays of their own. Of course, Power taking a very strong position.
And
Vision being very opportunistic on that.
That's
and the side of Nongshim Red.
No, so that's him. I don't know what do you do.
A tough circle gambling for some of the compounds here. It pays off for some of the teams like Power, of course, who admittedly they don't get themselves the win overall, Neptura, but they were in this compound for so long. They had the pick of the about which compound they wanted to go for, and it seems that they picked right.
13 elimination points is way more than I thought they got. No, but I will say R8 took the win from Power in such a way that to me makes sense, right? Because we've been talking, kind of going back and forth about R8, the momentum they were able to build. Whereas Power, yeah, they did get a lot of eliminations, but when it comes to that final push, they just didn't have that momentum to back them up. And so for R8, they were able to overpower Power for that reason, because they had to get so many eliminations and fight so hard to get to that second place.
Look, we're going to say a lot about me at this game. I am for Alpha 7.
17မှတ်ဝင်းရင်တော့မဆိုးနောက်ဆုံး17မှတ်လောက်ဖမ်းတာဗျာ17မှတ်
As we take a look at all these numbers coming in from this game as well, I mean, considering that I think there is a world where they may probably do skirt by survival.
နောက်ဆုံးမှ chicken ရလောက်ပါဗသက်ကကျုပ်လိုပဲပုံရင်မဟုတ်ဘူးဘယ်လိုလဲငါပို့တာမဟုတ်ဒါ prediction ဆိုတာဘယ်လိုပြောမလဲဒါတဘာကြပေးသွားတာ10မှတ်လောက်ရရင်တော့ပြီးသားဒီလိုအသင်းနေထားနေဗျာသိလားဒီလိုအခြေအနေမျိုးမှာဒီလိုအမှတ်ပဲဖမ်းနိုင်မယ်ဆိုတာဗျာဒါတစ်ခါရဲတွက်ပေးထားတာဗျာသိလားနောက်ဆုံးပဲ chicken ကိုယ်လည်းရနေချင်တာပေါ့ဒါပေမဲ့အဲ့လိုမျိုးဗျာသိရမှာအခုဆိုဇုံတွင်လည်းကြည့်ဗျာအဲ့လိုမျိုးကဇုံအကြောင်းတရားတွေရောအဲ့လိုမျိုးဟိုဘက်အသင်းတွေရဲ့ position ယူထားတဲ့အရာတွေရောလေသိလားလွယ်ကူကူကြီးတော့ဗျာသိလားအဲ့လို chicken ဆိုပြီးတော့မပြောချင်းဘာလို့လဲဆိုတော့
It's always really good as well if you have a
ဒီအမှတ်လောက်ရရင်တော်ပြီဆိုပြီးတော့ဗျာခမှန်းထားတာ
drop location as well, right?
ဒီမှာရှစ်ကွဲရင်လမ်းကိုတွေပဲရှိတော့တယ်မျိုးလက်ကောင်ကြပြီတော့ရအောင်ဩအဲ့အကြောင်းမို့လားကျွန်တော်တို့ဆိုရင်ဟိုပလင်းဆွဲခြင်းဒီလမ်းထဲထိတ်လမ်းထဲတယ်ဝေးမို့လမ်းဒီလမ်းကျွန်တော်ဒီကနေလမ်းဟိုတက်လောက်ရှောင်းရရအဲ့20လောက်ရှောင်းရရ
I'd agree.
30လောက်ဆို
R8 at the end of
အလုံးတော့သဆွဲလို့ရ
to keep your main fragging duo of
အောင်လုံးပဲလေး chicken လောက်ရလို့တော့ပြောနေတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ဇုံနေထားရရဗျာဇုံသားမယ်ပြီးရင်အဲ့လိုမျိုး position ဘာညာ position making တွေလည်းမှန်းရမယ်အဲ့အကြောင်းပဲအဲဆုံးတော့17မှတ်တော့မှန်းထားတယ်နောက်ဆုံးပဲဒီလိုပုံစံမျိုးလေးဆက်သွားမယ်ဆိုလည်းဆုံး17မှတ်လောက်ကတော့နောက်ဆုံးပဲရမှာ
Considering I was a little bit concerned about watching some of the moves that they were making on Arengel.
ဖယ်ကွန်းကသူ့လက်နဲ့ဘာလို့အဆင်းရောက်နေလဲမသိဘူးဖယ်ကွန်းကအရင်နေကမာကလစီယာကောင်လေဘယ်လိုပြောညီကောင်းတယ်လေဒီကောင်လေးလေ
running away with day one just yet. I want to say.
ကောင်လေး key point fan တာ
Told nobody's really sponging up a lot of those points, so that will mean that the cutoff, to a degree, Max, will be a little bit less, which could give Alpha 7 a little bit of a reprieve going into day 2. But they've got to turn it on, man.
You're telling me there's a chance they could make it.
Maybe.
ဝိုင်းကြီးရှက်လောအမတ်မတင်ညာသေးဘူးကျွန်တော်တင်1 to 8မှာတော့ရှိအောင်ပါပဲခုနကတော့ရှက်8ဗျာ9ဘွဲမစောခင်တော့ရှက်8ဟုတ်9ဘွဲဆော့ကွာရတော့ဒါတစ်ချက်ကြည့်ရမယ်ဘယ်လောက်ရောက်သွား
So if they don't win that, maybe we see a Regnum Kara win. That's something you want to try and avoid because you had 2 big hot drops. I want to see that fixed on Miramar.
Well, of course, before we get into our next game, it is now everyone's favorite segment of the day.
Max Man's grenade of the day.
And yes, full screen. Oh yes, we're back for Max Man's grenade of the day. And today we got 2 nades coming your way. Starting off, an absolute fail here from RET Sports. They're chucking the nades all over the place, crashing into the wall next to the side of Regnum. And Yangon also trying to take the engagement here on this final chicken dinner we had earlier on Erangel. But Yangon, they had the nades, they had all the utility in their arsenal ready to strike at the end to wrap it up. And this nade in particular, here you go, look at the timer, down to the last 2 seconds, chucks it right over onto Silas, and he is gone right back to the Shadow Realm. That was a game-winning nade for Yangon Galacticon.
Yeah! All right, brother. All right, I like that.
Yeah, bro.
You did sort of alternate between growly and then normal Max voice as well.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that was actually
Siegel native, huh?
Not bad. I was okay with that.
Yeah,
what do you think of that, Miss Nepturd? Did you enjoy Max Man's growly nade of the day?
Go to the
Yes.
Okay, Granny. That was
I don't know what that was.
They did.
Was that an attempt at growling?
Possibly.
Stop that right
don't
now.
do that again.
No.
Okay, that's just for Max.
We'll leave Max's nade of the day to Max. I think.
Thank you.
Fair enough, yeah.
But this now leaves us in a very open spot, right, for our final Miramar of the day, as we take a look at all of these players getting ready and good to go. In fact, I am getting word that our teams are almost ready. So without further ado, after that lovely nade of the day, let's head over to the casters of the day. There's another duo, they're also really good. We'll see you in a few.
Max Man! Grenade of the day.
That was your best Texas accent I've heard yet.
Hey man, we're going to be playing some more PUBG Mobile. I don't know where that's from. That's more like Louisiana way. But if you guys want to figure out exactly where that's from, well, you need to head over to the map or our official map feed. Of course, you can check that out on our PUBG Mobile Esports YouTube channel so you can see where all of our players are at all times, unless they've been eliminated, because then they won't be on the map feed anymore.
That's a fact.
Because they'll be out of the game.
Yes.
So you won't be able to see them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But what you can do is rewind it. Ooh. Then you can see them there anyway, even though it won't be live and up to date. You get what I'm trying to say, all right? What I'm trying to say is Max Man has excellent grenades. Only the best grenades.
Yes.
Everyone says so.
Yeah, the close-up really is what sent me. It was the
အေးရုပ်ခိုးတီးနေရလားခိုးမတီးပါဘူးအေးရုပ်ကကျွန်တော်ပြင်းတော့မှပဲဆော့တော့အေးရုပ်က
need more Max-Man close-ups. That's that guy. That's the guy. By the way, I heard the French slander earlier. Was that towards Max-Man too in the last map?
Well, I don't think.
You.
I feel like he catches enough flack as it is, so no. Yeah, we'll keep that one going.
We'll keep it going.
We'll save that in the pocket.
We'll save it. We'll save it. Look, Game 5 was phenomenal for a number of different reasons. You know, it's like I look at R8 taking the win in the fashion that they did, which was incredible. As we got the boat dance once again, that thing is just everywhere. But you know, we started it with Falcons getting a tremendous clutch, taking down Alpha 7 early on, which begs the question: another hot drop? I don't know. It might end up happening for Alpha 7. They need some confidence for power.
Al-Haji taking a little nap, keeping his eyes nice and fresh, ready to go. Out here in the Riyadh sun, it is very toasty, but our teams need to keep it cool, calm and collected in towards the final match of the day. Of course, we talked about that bubble earlier on the matches that we've had so far. And we're hoping to see at the end of all 12 matches, so at the end of tomorrow, a 70-point boundary. So today, getting over 35 points is where you want to see yourself sat.
Yeah, but Clara said it best. Like, at the moment, there's really, like, there are teams that are shining in specific instances, but at least towards the top, everybody is relatively even, which is going to put even more pressure on those bubble teams going into tomorrow, because I believe there is a slight separation in points anyways, especially when you start getting towards like 6th, 7th, and 8th place, right? So this next game is going to be critical. You always want to end your day on a good foot. So you go into tomorrow's competition knowing, okay, we ended strong, let's start strong. Tomorrow is just 6 games. That's all you got. And we're going to be sending half of the lobby home. That is a heavy, heavy burden on some of the rosters who are towards the bottom.
Well, let's take to the skies once more. The desert awaits us as we will reach our halfway mark at the survival stages. Once this game concludes, who share of the points, or are we going to sprinkle them about? So much seasoning on top of an already spicy tournament. The plane path coming on in starts from El Pozo and heads down towards Partona. Our 64 players ready to jump out.
Let's get it going, see how it's going to end up unfolding. El Pozo, I believe, yeah, we had that hot drop, right? Alpha 7 Falcons, do we get the repeat? Very rarely, at least in the Americas region, does Alpha 7 have to change up their landing spot because a team has pushed them out. It's only happened once to my knowledge, and it was in the PMSL Americas fall season. 2024. So this could very well be a repeat of that same situation. I look at them currently flying over Miramar. The Falcons are still relatively close to each other. In map number 5.
Okay, ကျွန်တော်ဒါနောက်ဆုံးပွဲစဉ်လေးဖြစ်တဲ့ဒီနေ့အတွက်ပေါ့နော်နောက်ဆုံးပွဲစဉ်လေးဖြစ်တဲ့ကျွန်တော် match number 10 Miramar လေးမှာ1G ကျွန်တော်နေတော့အနည်းဆုံး17မှတ်တော့ရှာမှအဆင်ပြေမယ်အနည်းဆုံး17မှတ်တော့ရှာသေးခြင်းနဲ့
We'll have to wait and see. Picardo as well, remember, there was a hot drop there, and that was with Regnum Kaya losing the majority of their players in that scenario. So it looks like they are actually quite dramatically going for that spread around Picardo.
ပြက်လို့ရှိရင်တော့အချိန်တိုင်းပဲအခုပြောတာလေအခုကခဏပဲပြက်သွား
in the last game. Let's talk a little
bit about Alpha 7. So like that don't which
might be going down. 4-team Falcons.
Mama la I alone in there. Standing Majava, she been out.
If I'm a competitor, I'm thinking, okay.
I told my Zulu been out. No, tell out. Wait, I told them
most likely going into the finals competition. Now, for them to challenge Alpha 7, you now have a chance to shut them down in game number 6 in 10th place. That's a tremendous offer, and if I'm Team Falcons, I want to hunt them down, and I want to take this fight once again to Alpha 7 and try to keep them away from top 8. Ralph, who's going to be kind of circling around. It's not unfolding just
They are already on the road. We're only 2.5 minutes in, and it seems like teams are already making their way forwards to these next sage positions. So potentially fairly light on the loot for a few of our players, but they'll be okay. Okay, heading back in towards Mikado. They can pick up a little bit more gear to be getting on with. So for Power, currently sat right at the top, nearly up. At that 60 point metric, would be huge to end their day on. In the meantime, Alpha 7, they're out.
ဒီကနေအားချောင်းနည်းနည်းပေါ့အားချောင်းမှာပဲဒီကန်တာတမိုင်းကျွန်တော်ငယ်ငယ်လေးကကျွန်တော်ဝမ်းသာပါအဲ့လိုပဲအားချောင်းတာပဲကျွန်တော်အဲ့လို6တန်း9တန်းလောက်တည်းကနေအဲ့လို9တန်းလောက်ထဲရပါတော့အားချောင်းတာလေတခုဆိုရိုက်ပါစီသူကအားတော့အနည်းဆုံးလေးချောင်းလိုက်ရမှာကူပြက်ဆိုတာဘာလဲမေးကြည့်လိုက်ပါအောင်နဲ့ဟာလားဘယ်လိုပြောတော့ကူပြက်ဆိုတာဘာလဲနည်းနည်းရှင်းပြပါအောင်လူစုံလုံးလေး
Even the best can start to feel rattled. I don't know if Alpha 7 is necessarily feeling that pressure just yet, but there is a little bit more at stake now in the survival stage.
ကူပြက်ဆိုတာတက်တော့မှာဗျာမပြောတော့ပါဘူးလို့ဘယ်လိုပြောသူအောင်ရှင်းပြရလေးပဲကျွန်တော်တို့နားထောင်နေတာကူပြက်ဆိုရင်ဝင်မှန်သွားတာလေးရှင်းပြလိုက်ပါဦး
But for Alpha 7, how long do they stay center zone?
That's the question. It's kind of antithetical to what they've been playing so far. Playing that edge side, playing that sweeper position, but they're going to change things up here on Miramar. I think they can chill out here for quite.
ကိုမတော့ဝေးလိုက်အောက်တန်းသားရေးတာဘေးကဖုံးမှုလုံးနဲ့အောင်တိရောက်မရဲရွဲလာကြအမေဒီမှာဆိုတာလက်ပါမှငြိမ်သွားတာနှိပ်ပေးရတယ်လေโอเคလေ
A really quite big split. It's about a kilometer difference between the two outposts. This is on the forward position. 14 vision.
Kasaki flat.
The two players.
Flat cancer.
Behind them, never alone. Playing with a Nawaf on that vehicle rotate behind them. The scout is good. They're clearing the path, and they're going to be chilling for the time being. And actually, sailing on in close to other players, potentially all the way up towards Alpha 7 there on the north.
Davi, Hora.
Trap on the sleepy.
တက်လာမသိသေးဘူး
Trino's up there. Well, now he does. Cat's out of the bag.
ဟောအမချောင်းရဲတော့
A big fight for the high ground.
သွားပြီ
Sleepy down, and there's nothing he can do.
No.
Hugs the wall, tries to avoid damage, and simply cannot put
No,
Trino. Holds on tight to what he's got.
That's really bad news for Sleepy. Drops down the side and takes a dirt nap. That is an uncomfortable pillow, if I do say so myself.
Well, still, a chance to get back up is there. Jiggle overlooking where Pedrino's out means Pedrino can't comfortably go for the finish, nor do I think he's truly concerned about getting the cleanup on the Sleepy. So, might be a four-man unit quicker than you would assume. The pickup is in, so all good. Sleepy.
ဝိုင်းကြီးကတဝဲပြီးရင်ကိုမတ်ကိုသိတာသိရတာဗောဘယ်လိုသိရအခု34မှတ်ရှိပြီလေဒီဝဲပြီးဒီဝဲမှတ်သိရမယ်နောက်ဝဲပြီးနောက်ဝဲမှတ်သိရမယ်ကျွန်တော် run စစ်မှာဆိုတော့ဒါအချိန်တော့ဒီဘက်ကျွန်တော်17မှတ်လောက်တော့အနည်းဆုံးရှာသေးခြင်းတယ်ဒီဘက်17မှတ်လောက်တော့ရှာသေးခြင်းတယ်ဒါဒီဘက်17မှတ်လောက်ရထားမှာ
The benefit of not going
Chinny
for
Gama.
a flush out is that it draws
Let me
them in, and now they have to commit to this hillside push. So Pedrino can just give ground. I mean, it's smart, right? You just slam it in reverse, do a little pirouette on the way down. You look classy. You look.
အပိုင်းကွာအေးစင်းနောတဲ့ဟောစော်တလေးပြစ်နေတယ်
That's the idea.
Not out yet.
A lot of
လိုပြစ်နောတယ်ကွာအဲ့ဒါ
downhill, quite connecting. Have to hop out though as the vehicle starts.
အေး
Set on fire.
တော်တော်ကြိုးစားလိုက်ရဟမ်
So as cool, as swift as it looked, he was not quite quick enough.
Well, for Power to Noxium Red Force, they start to clash very early on.
ဝယ်ဦးနောက်ပိုင်းကိုယ်တိုင်မပြစ်တော့ဘူးဘလိမ့်မဘလိမ့်တော့တယ်လား
Map number 5 here on Miramar, who started off
ကဲ
on fire, had a chance.
power နဲ့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒါ NS ပတ်တယ်
Just short.
power round 1ဆိုရင်ဒီကောင်နဲ့ sound aggressive ဆော့ရဒီကောင်နဲ့ပြက်ကွာ NS ကလည်းဘယ်တင်းအမှတ်ရအေးကွာနော်ဒီကောင်ကတော့အသင်းနေဆိုဘယ်တင်းမှတ်ရထားပါဒီကောင်ရကျင်တဲ့အသင်းရအသင်းရတော့ပြတ်မှာတို့ sleepy ချက်တွေပြုတ်ပါကြအေးဒါဘူးအဲ့လိုပဲ
Today's competition now top 3. Badan hugging the corner. Noxium Red Force starting to tighten the vice grip. It's not going to be an easy fight for either which roster. I do love the high ground over Tizzy. Cannot disengage with Doc starting to fall.
Nobby.
We start to see Noxium Red Force unfurling.
Hayden Nobby
Will be there for the refrag.
ဟိုဘက်တယောက်ဒီဘက်တယောက်နော့တယ် power နှစ်ယောက်ချက်မယ်အိုး easy Relax, bro. Relax.
Those flick shots all important. Has done so much for them. Easy drops down around the side and he clocks one on the swim. Really nice heads up drop down there for Easy. More to go though, and Binny on the inside trying to keep things together for Nongshim Red Force for power. Again for Binny. A hell of large amount of damage for the roster of Nongshim Red Force, and they keep it going. Power done and dusted.
Okay. Round 1 thing ကတော့ပြုတ်ပြီးတော့ပဲကျွန်တော် NS Run 2ကနေပြီးတော့ Sorry Run 3ကနေ Run 2ကိုရောက်လာပြီ
when it comes to the top of the standings. Currently first place 56 near
အဲ့လိုဗဒယ်လေးတွေတော့ဖြစ်စေချင်သေးတယ်အာမ
They're very healthy, but going from what should have been a guaranteed win in my opinion in map number 5 to being first out in map 6, they're going to have to recover short-term memory going into day 2's the final day for the survival stage. There's no gifts wildly down towards the south and
ကျွန်တော်ကတော့ fine ဝကြည့်အောင်ကွာဒုံခေါ်ချသွားတာကြီးဘာမှမဆိုင်တဲ့နေရာကြီးကိုခေါ်သွားတာဒီလိုကြီးကိုကွာဒီလိုကြီးခေါ်ချသွားကြည့်အောင်ဘိုင်းကြီးကားတိုက်ပြီးပြန်ဝင်ရ
Get up into those hills and try and maintain the control. Everybody else on the road. Alpha 7 leading the charge. They leave almost immediately. Rightly so. They've heard that fight across the way. They know Nongshim Red Force are still a little bit battered and bruised. Can't take that fight. So you get out of there fast. You're not going to be as challenged here. Across the road they go. And they're looking a lot safer now. And they are into Regnum Karya territory.
Alpha 7 dead center like you said. Let's see
No,
what
cuidado,
happens here. Nongshim Red Force very close to him. Regnum Karya also starting to
87 ID ရှိနေကိုမောင်ကြီးသွား
win fight. Alpha 7
တိုင်းဖို့လုံးနေ
it is critical. They break into top 8 by the end of the day. And
ID ကအဲ့လိုကြီးတစ် point ထဲမှာ4ယောက်ဆိုတော့အနေနဲ့ပြန်များသွားပြီ
just down below.
Hey အပေါ်ကြီးလည်းတက်လို့မရဘူး
who has managed to stand his ground this time has a full
ဘေးဘက်ညာစပွန်ဆာဘေးဘက်ကောင်လေးရှိတယ်
going to make him a better player. Squash, pre-fires, no connections, and the dance will continue.
Alpha 7 rock up. No casualties on the approach so far. A little bit of damage sent towards Mafioso, towards Revo, but they are now in the straight up 4v4. As Regnum Karya holding the ground, a lot of damage sent over to Mafioso and a 1-4 trade on the off angle there. Silas finds a second as well. Alpha 7 back down into the dirt, and it's all up to Revo now as they're finding the shots for Regnum Karya.
ကောင်းတယ်ဝိုင်းတစ်ဖက်ကောင်းပဲပေးလိုက်ရ
But one is not enough, and Alpha 7 end their day in the bottom half of the lobby.
That is so tough. Regnum Karya putting the final nail in the coffin for Alpha 7's performance in day 1 survival stage. They will officially finish outside of top 8. Tomorrow has to go so much better if they want even a chance to go to the finals and defend their title from last year. Now we focus our attention over towards Team Falcons, a roster that was underperforming throughout the group play, but overperforming when it comes to the survival stage, looking to finish in first.
Alpha 7 really good at Miramar, by the way. 1 point, no points. It's kind of crap, really, isn't it?
It is.
It's not what you want to see for Alpha 7. And
my concern, though, John, is like they go in Americas and they underperform. They do. Let me take it back. Stage 1 of PMSL Americas. Beating the second more than half, or more than double, if I'm not mistaken. Then they go into stage 2. Start to slow down a little bit, second place. Now, still impressive, right? But we're talking Alpha 7. And then they go to grand finals, and they start off very, very slow. Let's not forget, they only qualify for this stage, for PMWC in the final game, and it's because Wolves dropped the ball going to the Death Shack and basically not even of course, they did, but just too slow, and well, they didn't have a game plan. Alpha 7 finishing bottom 3 right for their region, which they should have dominated, and now they're in the survival stage. The pressure is on, and now they're not even top 8 going into the second day. I'm starting to get a little bit worried.
They're losing pace as well with the rest of the pack moving ahead of them towards that bubble. It's going to be difficult to make it. Nongshim Red Force on the northern side here. We saw that engagement earlier that they had with power. They were able to win it, but the speed at which they could leave is not going to be fast enough. They've now taken heavy casualties, and that crossing is going to be nearly impossible with 1 player remaining. Holding on to their position with 3 players alive. Kinotrope as well on that southwest side with a nice spread out across a lot of ground. But the Falcons are going to look to challenge the south point. They could potentially find a weakness.
And I think the weakness is going to be Plur. Plur off on his own, and this could be Falcon's opportunity to kind of bully him out. Granted, you do have Ozan who's going to be able to fire down low, and he did a great job, by the way, in the last game, right? Ozan was that off angle, just peppering shots at the enemies starting to roll in. But for Falcons, they are a punishment.
Romeo no, Abby.
See Plur by himself, you better believe they're going to push him.
Taking heavy punishment from Aura to their north, who do still have to rotate themselves, and Vision to their north as well, who do not. Are going to be able to hold down in this compound.
High ground, low ground.
And ahead on their south. On the exit from Montenegro.
Okay, 3 man live rush here.
Dishing out some punishment.
Hello, my friend. Now I know see my friend.
Towards the top
25
here. In 9th place, Aura looking to move away from Alpha 7 towards E-Arena. But E-Arena themselves going to be crashing on towards this Regnum Karya position. We've seen them defend one. Can they do it again?
Regnum Karya looking to take down 2 teams.
Hey, easy there. On the cool mountain front gone.
E-Arena though, got to give them faith because they've done such a great job holding hardcover POI, but it's chaos across the board. Loxy bottom right, of course, Joker, who's going to be bottom left, and then the overhead up top is it's just a mad scramble for positioning, and I believe Regnum Karya gives respect to E-Arena. They're
ချက်ချင်းပတ်တာနော်
You wait for those pushes, you
အပါမခံအောင်ချက်ချင်းပတ်တာ3ယောက်လုံးဆောင်ရမြန်တယ်
value out of it, but you know you're not winning really realistically.
ဘဘက4កောင်
in that engagement. It
မ
was
ဆိုင်တော့ဘူးအောင်ပေးလိုက်ပဲနဲ့
stick around in that spot, and the fact that they had those vehicles ready to go says to me this
ကစားကင်းတဲ့ဆိုမြန်နေလုံနေမှရမယ်နော်ရတယ်
teams getting in. If we don't
ငါမလုံနိုင်မင်းလက်နဲ့ကုလုပ်ပေးလေကွာကန်စားလေမရဘူးလားမင်းနည်းနည်းကုလုပ်ပေးပေါ့မလုံနိုင်ဘူးနည်းနည်းလေးနေလို့ရှိရင်ဘာလဲနည်းနည်းကုလုပ်ပေးအောင်
that we ended up witnessing. Granted, second place.
အော်ဇုံကမဆိုးတော့မဆိုးဘူးဗျကျွန်ပီရဲ့ဒီအောက်ကဟိုကောင်တွေရဲ့ BS တန်တွေရဲ့အပေါ်တော့ဝိုင်းရင်လေးသွားယူလို့ရသေးတယ်
I don't think this is going to be the end of them versus E-Arena.
နောက်ကနေပြီးဒါပေမဲ့ budget ကတော့ဒါ fair ကိုနည်းကိုနည်းနည်းပြစ်ချလိုက်အော်စမိုင်းကိုတွေ့သွားပြီစမိုင်းနိုးလို့မရဟောမရနိုးရမရဘူးနောက်က budget တွေလာပြီဗျ
take one of their players out. Yangon Galacticos down to 2.
ဝိုင်းကြီးတိုးမဲ့နေရာကို fair ကအရင်သွားယူသွားပြီအဲဆိုရင်နည်းနည်း short ရှိတယ် အကောင်เนี่ยနေရာယူပြီးတော့နောက်ကိုပြန်ထောက်လို့ရှိရင်ဝိုင်းကြီးပြန်သွားဖို့တိတ်မလွယ်တော့ပြန်ဟိုမှာ rough လို့ပါတော့ဒီဘက်ကိုပြန်ပြီးလက်ဥတီနေစေးကောင်းနဲ့မှာ return နဲ့တွေ့တော့မယ်
to move through, but in the meantime, Yangon Galacticos feeling the pressure.
အောက်ကလည်းထပ်ပြအောင်မှာအမှရွေးချယ်တာတေးမရှိဘူး
In my opinion, I'm sending it into the zone. I'm
မာ
trying
န
to get as much distance as possible once these fights have
ဇုံကလည်းလာနေဗျ2မိနစ်ချိန်ရမယ်အိုးမရဘူး
with Yangon Galacticos being around his Vision also being in the area and Kinotrope also being up top. Falcons could be in trouble before they know it.
Getting a little bit more healthy here. They'll need every advantage they can get. Pushing in the southwest side is treacherous. The terrain nice and bobbly for you as you try and roll on forwards. SayCloud has spotted Redox. Redox unaware of the position,
Redox.
but doesn't quite
No,
get
I need
there.
it. Wow.
Time now to heal this one up, and SayCloud's position is known. He'll have to reposition and get away from this location before the Falcons descend, before Vision send out their way. But I don't imagine that Vision are going to be super keen to send south at this stage. They're going to be more interested to regroup. Meanwhile,
အပေါ်မှာ KN ရောက်လာ
it's going to be it's Aura on the northern side, and IG having a tough time of it.
IG team that's been struggling quite a bit towards the bottom end of the standings.
PMWC မှာဒီဒေါသသိနေပဲလား bro PMWC ကဒီဒေါသသိပဲတော့မဟုတ်ဘူး PMWC ကအတင်းနဲ့ကြောင်းလဲမှုလေးရှိ bro တွေးနေနွမ်းနေပြီတားရလို့ပဲမဟုတ်ဘူးတားဘူးရဲ့ဆောင်းအပြောရိုးတယ်မင်းရဲ့အသွေးကြီးကလုံးဝရိုင်းဆိုင်နေတာ
Influence Rage are going to be able to heal up a little bit more effectively than R8 in this location. In fact, it's only Damar who is left standing for them, and he is split from this fight. He is trying to take those shots.
အသွေးကြီးအဲ့လောက်ကြီးညစ်ပေပေါင်းနွမ်းနေဆိုရင်တော့နည်းနည်းမင်းတန့်စင်ဖို့လိုအပ်နေပြီ
on the deck. And Damar could try and challenge this. He's not really got too much to lose. Has to get out of here anyway. A front flip on the buggy. He's dismounted from it, but he's
စိတ်လောက်ထပ်ပါသွားပြီ
get it back into control. But all this time,
မာနဲ့ only one life
have been regrouping. Hang on a minute. No, they haven't.
He took down Low Boy. He took down Low Boy from a distance. Now DeMar knows I've got to capitalize off this. He pushes straight in. He's a solo. He's going for gold. But can he pull off a miracle play? Well, at least so far, yes, he can. He re-rotates over to potentially take down Low Boy. But now he's going to take down Lorzen, who pushes over the top. But gets silenced finally from a distance. He's taken down as Fireflux says enough.
During all of that as well, Kinotrope sent a big
has
torn them in half. They are suffering now, and it looks like they're being handled nicely out on the western side. Redoc's the last to stand for them, and he will fall in short order. A well-placed nade stops Falcons in their tracks, going down with minimal points on this match, but their day is pretty successful so far. They have managed to turn up where they haven't before, and will be happy moving into day 2.
It's not the biggest surprise, though. Falcons were so embroiled in this fight against Yangon Galacticos. Meanwhile, Vision was also laying down shots down range, and Kinotrope just had too much of a power position, too much vision on Falcons once they started to push it, and they had to start pushing in to go into the next zone. So Falcons get eaten alive, and it will be Kinotrope who have a potential to have a tremendous game, which would be very valuable. They're knocking up, passing up the previous year champs of Alpha 7. Top 8 is a possibility. They need a lot of points to get there, but finishing the final game of day number 1 of survival stage is so impactful for Kinotrope. They have a chance to do it.
This is also a big chance for Regnum Karya to put themselves back in and amongst the top dogs of this lobby. Making sure that they can end over 40 points would be fantastic. Getting up towards 50 would be brilliant. It will take it still quite a long way to go for them. They'd need a 26-point match to be able to get up towards that 60-point mark. It's doable. There's still plenty of points left going. We'll see what they can find here on the northern side. They've got a solid spot.
Fireflux so spread out, mind you. You've got Scarface all the way in the north, Solus way down to the south, along with Mapcap and Catch are going to be the closest together, but even them are quite separated. And Scarface is feeling the pressure as Loxy takes him down. John, do you think that spread is a bit too much from Fireflux's perspective?
I think that you could definitely argue that, yes. I think it's fair enough to say that it was way too bold for Fireflux there to keep that one going. Perhaps they didn't have the rotational capacity, perhaps they'd run out of vehicles, not entirely too sure, but it looks like they're going to try and re-establish this split. I mean, there's no one really challenging them here.
South or north,
trying to just cover this ground, but I think leaving someone on the far side of the on the far side of the road may be a bridge too far.
Yeah, it's a bit weird for me. Granted, gaining insight, maybe scouting the horizons, but your scouts get taken down, and now it's time to get back together. Solus looks to be joining where Catch is currently at Madcap.
individual
zones, so when the real estate already there and the information needed in order to set up quite nicely to gatekeep, but it's just a bit too much. But with 3 members still remaining, a chance is still there. Now for Doc, well, his chances are gone, and well, that's going to be the end of Red Force. They get taken out, and their final game of the day is over with. Now, for Hora Esports, though, all eyes on them. 4 strong zone.
Yeah, with the hills that they have to play around, they get quite close to the center. We're going to be seeing the next circle in about 5 seconds as well, so it's going to dictate the pace. Vision, they've been slinking their way down this western edge and towards Kinotrope, who now find themselves in a little bit of a dip. A huge nade comes through from Noir, finding 2, and immediately they can descend on this one. They should be at the very least. There's only 1 player close by to try and handle this one. Ozzy-san at a distance. I don't think he's going to be able to say anything about this. I don't think he has a chance to chime in if Vision just pour over the top.
Yeah, Plur, I mean, maybe, just maybe he can make something happen. He throws the nade, but it's a bit too short. And Plur is going to be the last-ditch effort for Kinotrope to try and be the hero to shut down Team Vision. But I don't know if he's going to have what it takes in order to do so. But he does get the but the shots are going to be missed. He's going to be snipped and taken down. And Team Vision, who was opposite of Kinotrope for the longest time, puts almost the final nail. Ozzy's on is gone.
until now, right? These guys, off that last Miramar, they got a healthy Elim
What's up,
with a western point position. They have a chance to push towards E Arena. Sure, it is a difficult one. A lot of open, quite flat terrain as well. But they do have a chance here to put another big number game on the cards. They started this Miramar set really down on their luck, but they have started to pull their socks up.
Zan goes into a hot and ready Lil Boy as well as Influence Rage. Doesn't have the help needed. Influence Rage start to encompass where Ozizan is currently at. And he won't even get a shot up, unfortunately. He will be eliminated, and therefore Kinatrope are gone from a very dominant, strong position. Pressure was on for Kinatrope. They get 3 eliminations. I'm thinking they're going to have a deep run, maybe even surpass the performance of Alpha 7, but they fall short as Team Vision take them down in conjunction with Influence Rage.
I'm looking at Vision right now. I think they have the most difficult approach here. Wouldn't be too surprised to see them sweep around to the north side. It looks like they're trying to consider that as well. Over towards Otter. Move out into that open ground that sits there. Having the compound in the southwest quadrant, it's not necessarily going to be ending up there, so it could potentially be an advantage to be on the outside in this scenario.
Could be. Regnum Karia disengaging from E Arena earlier, right? You talked about it. You said that's a favorable play. I think maybe there's going to be another contest for the hardcover POI, but no. Regnum Karia being where they are, I actually favor them. I think they're in a wonderful spot. E Arena now. Everybody knowing this compound is going to be so impactful for the future stages, and everybody.
Is that the position that they hold have so much open ground around them inside that compound, right? We saw to make their way north would be really, really tricky. It would be a better use of their time to play around where Mormon is playing, right? That east side of the compound, try and stretch up a little bit closer to the edge, have access to the hills, and potentially take a couple of shots out towards Otter, towards Influence Rage, towards Fireflux's remaining players.
Vision wants it. Vision wants to push in. Regnum Karia gets a piece of the building in the next stage. The arena going to be quite healthy where they currently at. Need Sakura as well as Joker to join into the mix for Vision. Well, they've got to make a decision, and honestly, going south, you go into E Arena, you go north, you got Regnum Karia who's going to be looking directly at you. You said it was going to be difficult for Vision, now the job just got even more difficult.
Six teams now remain with 21
Draw
some shots out.
Run
Wait for Arena to try and challenge as well on a third-party off angle, but they aren't spotting it.
Have no choice. Vision, they've got the man advantage, but they've got to break into the cover. It's not going to be easy, but it's their only go at it. They focus on the Loxy first. Right. Loxy, though, does a good job taking down a couple. In fact, he's going to get the full finish onto Alone. Marcelo off to the right will also be taken down. Volt, the last chance, the last dance for Team Vision to make anything happen. The game of day number 1 and stage will end in a wonderful hold. Here comes the third party, E Arena. And they want to finish.
They've heard this fight popping off. This is the only team that was holding them from moving north, and Regnum Karia's sightlines get pushed off the angles. They don't have time to heal because they've got more players descending upon them. Tony K, nade in hand, Wild desperately popping that first aid. The Molotov on high keeps Loxy back off the window, and Tony K plays forwards. The door, potentially to his demise, but Silas not going to go down just yet. Tony K hopping up, trying to challenge on the high ground, and might be able to do it, but slips low. And in the meantime, E Arena have lost a player on the off angle. Fireflux are moving in. Influence Rage, Otter as well, trying to find their way through and closer to this fight.
Tremendous fight. Big fight indeed. The question is, Regnum Karia with catch. Will he have any impact? Well, with the reset, who can push straight into Regnum Karia, but Silas wants to hold his Silas needs to hit the shots needed, but no one is going for the challenge just yet.
3v 3v4 the square 4v4 the square. Good now let's 3v4 now the square.
With 5 elims, sat at the top of the performance.
EV နာဝိုက်ပေးလိုက်ကွာဝိုက်ပေးလိုက်သွားအဲ့ဆိုရင်စင်ပြေသွား EV နာဝိုက်ပေးလိုက်
Seven couldn't do it. Vision couldn't do it. E-Arena taking
ကောင်းတယ်တစ်ခေါက်
Regnum Kaya may be too tall of a mountain to climb.
ကောင်းတယ်တစ်ခါလည်းခေါ်
Keep things on lock and key. These guys are champions in their own right, and that is on full display here.
ဟိုဘက်ကနေပြီးတော့စပွန်နေပေးသွားတပတ်တီပေးသွားတာဒီကောင်လေး3ကောင်လားမသိဘူးရလိုက်တယ် Oh my god
So they have free and clear ground.
IG ကောင်းတယ် EV နာဝိုက်သွား 1G run 8နဲ့ကျန်တော့သေးတယ်
Who's going to have the off angle? A Regnum Karia. Once they do,
ကောင်းတယ်ကွာ IG အဲ့ကောင်မောက်တစ်ဖက်သွားတာ
eyes on influence rage up ahead.
ရှော့ကန်ကြော်ဝင်းနေနဲ့တွေ့သွားဟမ်စနိုက်ပါကြော်ဝင်းနေမို့ဒီကောင်လေးရှော့ကန်ကြော်ဝင်းနေ
One of their best performances yet. I'm hoping they start to crawl their way up into the top 8 position. But Ora, they've got other plans, and Lil Boy is down.
Let's get a little bit more done. Loxy falls as well on an off angle there.
မလော့စီတကောင်တော့နေနော်
Starting to extend their influence. It was Ketch who was able to catch them on the approach there. They're potentially going to be resable, but the blue zone pushing in, they just don't have the time. Dead center of the circle right now sits in Aura territory, and it's going to be up to Regnum Kaya to try and dispatch them from that location. Regnum Kaya committing? No, they don't find the res.
Oh, Wild, he's got the forward position. He's going to be the closest to Horda, but he doesn't understand what he's getting into. You've got Influence Rage who's been fighting against Horda. Wild's going for the off angle. Sleepy has taken a lot of damage. Sky's going to be cooking an ace. Silence is going in. The tip of the spear looking to turn the tides. Regnum Karia is full committed. They know they have to, but Wild, he's the only one who's going to be standing currently. Horda is going for gold, but Influence Rage.
ဟိုရာကြီးကစက်တကောင်နဲ့ကွာ
I think they got this. Horda, they are running on.
Silence ကောင်းလာတော့ဟုတ်တယ် Silence ကောင်းတယ် bro
Law with an aid cooking now over the top needs to find the
SUG မှာရလောက်တာ Silence
and no answer is found with an aid. Sky looking to try and take up the mantle of the peak, but again he is rebuffed. It's all up to Jiggle
ကောင်းတယ်အဲ့ကောင်လေး
to keep them linchpinned into this match, but catches there.
အကီတကီလေးတွေ
And that's Law as well, taking the shots out wide. Nobody's getting out of this desert unscathed now, and Law can't find the first. Looks for the second challenge, and he just dips behind.
ဟိုရာချစ်ခဲ့ရအောင်ဟိုရာကြီးအမှတ်ထားအောင်
Moment longer, a breath allowed for the time being.
Sleepy's the one to watch out for. Catch as well. Look, Fireflux.
Sleepy တို့ဟမ်
Well, win this whip.
Oh
Sleepy's going to take down.
Okay Sleepy one man like
No fears once again.
Okay
Diego's going to be pushing up onto Orda. The nade's going to be cooking.
What?
Orda's actually out, and now it comes down to a 1v1. It's going to be Catch versus.
Get 1v1
Catch the madman from Fireflux. They've been playing on drips and drabs for so long, and they managed to find it.
Fire မလက်ကရအောင်ရေးနေနဲ့
Turnaround for Fireflux. They play in the shadow of Demon.
Nice
And Regnum Kaya on the
ကောင်းပါလေ
They play split, they play snake, and they bite.
Fireflux, a dominating performance. The solo playing spoiler. And you gotta respect Catch in that moment.
Influence Race
He was in a power spot watching Regnum
ဒါမ
Karia
နေ့ဖြစ်ရတော့ကျွန်တော်ဒါ
over after they
ဝိုင်း
win
ကြီးနေတဲ့
two
ဒီ
dominating
နေ့ပို့ပြီးတော့
At the end of the day, it was Catch
သ
overlooking
တိထားတာတော့ view site ပြီးတော့အမှတ်ချလို့ဖို့လိုအပ်သွား
He had what it took, what it takes in order to take over
နည်းလေးပို့ပြီးအားဆိုင်ဖို့လိုသွားပြီကျွန်တော် final တက်ရဖို့အတွက်ဆိုရင်တော့
difference from their group.
ဒီဆော့ကကောင်းလားလို့မင်းလည်းကောင်းတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ဇုံကဒီနေ့ကန်တရားတိတ်မပါဘူးပြင်သေးတာ
What a rotation.
ဇုံကအမြဲပွဲတိုင်းလို့သွားနေရတယ်ဒါမှကျွန်တော်ချစ်ကန်ရရဲ့ပွဲရဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တကယ် decision မှန်မှန်နဲ့
Regnum Kaya put on a
တုံးနိုင်သွားလို့
classy display in
နောက်ပြန်တော့ရက်ပို့ပြီးလုံးဝ final ကိုကျွန်တော် top 8ထဲမှာပါမယ်အဲ့တော့တင်းနေကုန်လုံးကတော့မနေ့ပြန်
That is a team of
အုပ်ပါ
discipline. So for
အုပ်ပါပဲဒီလိုအုပ်ပါပဲပြောလားတို့လုံးလုံးပဲကောင်းနေပြီပဲအဲ့တော့ကောင်းနေကွာကောင်းနေသလား IG ဆောင်း defense နေဆောင်းကောင်းတယ်နော်ဒါက FF ကပွေးသွားတာ FF ကပွေးပြီးသွားဟောဒါ FF ကကောင်း
An unreal ending with chaos
ရဲလည်းကောင်းရပါလေ
about the place, but somehow
ဟောဒါကျွန်တော်လက်ပြန်ပေါ့နော်လက်ပြန်
Influence Rage and Aura being able to
final stage ကိုကျွန်တော်ဒီမှာအတင်းတက်ဖို့အတွက်ဆက်လက်ပြီးတော့အားပေးလိုက်မယ်နော်လက်ပြန်ညမှာ
We got Neptura. They're hyped. They are ready to go
Okay.
for the survival stage, and also Max Man's here as well.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. I was so impressed by how they were reacting to that game, Max.
Yeah, they were very hyped about it.
Yes.
I was
So,
not looking
I
at
know-
them. I was looking at Hora. I was looking at the side of Influence.
Understandable.
And I was also looking at
West Body, yeah, nah, man.
to the fence, being really silent. Works out every once in a while, and for here, Fireflux to actually get themselves a good old win. Good to see.
နော် West Body ကနာမည်ညမှာပဲကျွန်တော်ဆက်လက်ပြီးတော့
Sometimes it happens.
အပေးရတာပေါ့ဗျာ
back. Actually, what is that? 2 wins for them
အော်
now. Yes.
မာကြီးရော
Nice. Good
6
performance
မှတ်
out
ဒီ
of
ကောင်
them.
လေး key point 12မှတ်လောက်ရ
12
နော်
eliminations. Really
Horror ရဲ့လည်း
top heavy,
13မှတ်
super top heavy, I feel like, for this match.
Irina ကတော့
Influence Rage too, 13 points.
4မှတ်နဲ့
I was
point
surprised. It was
point
good to see
4
Horror
မှတ်
being able to
အော်
actually perform here.
ကောင်လေးက31နဲ့4နဲ့ဆို YG ကိုတစ်မှတ်ကျော်သွားပြီအဲ့ဒါ YG ကကျွန်တော် rank 9ရောက်သွားပြီ
Contend tomorrow to make it to the
Interesting to see who can actually try and beat them coming into
နောက်ပြန်ဒီကတော့ အားဆိုင်မှရအောင်ကျွန်တော်တို့နောက်ပြန်ပြိုင်ပွဲတွေကနောက်ပြန်ပြိုင်ပွဲတွေကကျွန်တော် E Arena တို့
go for it. We haven't seen another alter ego.
NS ရဲ့အပေါ်
We
မှာ
haven't
တော်
seen
တော်
a
ရောက်တယ်ခင်
domination from
ဗျ
any one
E
team.
Arena
Everything is very close. So this match in particular has been super.
ပြိုင်ပွဲတင်းလေးချက်ကြည့်လိုက်
It's still there now for Doc. Well, his chance.
Horror ရှိမယ်နောက်ပြန်ပြိုင်ပွဲတွေက E Arena ရှိမယ် RH ရှိမယ်ဟို IG ကတော်တော်အမှတ်ခံသွားပြီနော်ဟိုရဲ့ပြိုင်ပွဲတွေထဲမှာအောက်ကအသင်းလေးက A7 ကလည်းမနေ့ပြန်လိုက်မှာ A7 ကလည်းမနေ့ပြန်လုံးမယ်ထဲမှာပါတယ်ဆိုတော့ဒါ YG နဲ့မနေ့ပြန် A7 EA Horror RH IG NS ပဲအကုန်ဒီကောင်တွေကအမှတ်နည်းနည်းထောင်းထောင်းနေဆိုပေမဲ့6ပွဲကြီးဗျအကုန်မှီပါသေးတယ်ကျွန်တော်ဒီ Grand 10ကနေစပြီးတော့အပေါ်အသင်းတွေကိုမနေ့ပြန်လိုက်မှာပိုင်းမယ်
I wish.
Okay.
I wish.
နော်ဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်မနေ့ပြန်ညမှာပဲပေးလိုက်နော်ကျွန်တော်ဒီ watch party လေး live ကတော့နားပါပြီကဲပြီးတော့မှကျွန်တော်ခဏနေဟော edit make ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ပြန်ဆောင်နော် okay